wherever you listen to radio.
Good morning, people listening in. I'm not going to say beautiful, but it is definitely a Saturday in November. We're just a couple of days away from Thanksgiving, and we're going to talk a little bit of sports for the next 3 hours. I am Barrett Spritzer, joined by Sfouggatakis and Max Langer. Griffin is on the board back there, and folks, I'm just ready to have a great show. It's been a while since I've been on a one-on-one. I took a little hiatus there. I know George did as well, and for Max, this is your first ever time doing this, so
very first time. Nothing to compare it to.
Yeah, we got a crew. We got a crew ready to just jump into things here. So
most definitely.
So you know what? That's what we're gonna do. We've got a little bit of college football. I know it's a kind of a softer week in terms of pure gameplay, but there's definitely some interesting storylines from Lane Kiffin to James Franklin to just whatever is going on with the college football rankings. We're going to talk college basketball. We've really started to get into the swing of things there with Thanksgiving tournaments coming up, which is honestly, outside of March Madness, one of my favorite times of the college sports in general is the Thanksgiving week tournaments.
Also professional, too. We have the NFL ramping up, playoff pushes.
We do.
NBA's in full swing.
It's coming up on fantasy football playoffs. It's
somehow
it's make or break time for fantasy football players.
I definitely agree. I think the tournaments outside of March Madness they've got the most impact on the entire season. You talk about players era, all the stuff going on over Thanksgiving week.
It's really
looking forward to it.
It's one of the first times where you see the big matchups, the big ranked matchups in college basketball, and it's always great to wake up on like a Wednesday morning right before Thanksgiving and just be able to watch some college basketball, have nothing else to do. But outside of college sports, we're definitely going to talk some of the Knicks and some of the Nets, what's going on, as we are a couple of games into the NBA season now, and things have starting to take shape. We're starting to see a little bit of maybe what the rest of the season's going to look like. We'll talk the Jets and the Giants, both of those disaster seasons in the making.
Unexpected disasters.
I will say, as a Rams fan, I'm rooting for the Jets and the Giants the rest of the way because we've got the Falcons pick this year, so they win. Falcons drop higher in the draft order.
Also kind of helps that Penix is down. Kirk Cousins is a dumpster fire, and then Drake London's out as well. So
right. Yeah.
So
speaking of fantasy football, Drake London was kind of carrying my fantasy team.
Same here. But we still have Travion Henderson, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like a good. Yeah, I also have Travion Henderson.
Picked up Jordan Addison off of waivers. Don't know how I pulled that, but it worked.
Yeah, Travion Henderson was kind of he was supposed to lead me to glory, and he didn't do that for about the first 8 to 10 weeks of the season.
He started putting up 30 a week.
Yeah, now he's gone off, but I think he's been on my bench both the times he's had the big games.
It's tragic.
I've been so scarred by him that I'm afraid. I'm afraid to finally pull the trigger and put him back in the starting lineup. And I know as soon as I do that, it's going to be another like 5 carries for 14-yard type of day.
But Davis Mills and the Texans.
Yeah,
that's a little bright spot.
I guess.
At least you guys still have a shot. My fantasy season ended the second Malik Neighbors got injured. So,
ouch.
I
was at that game when he went down.
Oh really?
Yeah, I was sitting right behind the sideline where he went down, and it was a quiet place. I've never heard MetLife so quiet in my life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in 5 fantasy football leagues, and I'm in first in 3 of them and dead last in the other 2. So, kind of a tale of two seasons going on for me. But yeah, outside of fantasy football, there's some very interesting storylines in the NFL that we will definitely talk about later in the show. But before we get into the sports talk, just let's hear a little bit about what's going on for y'all. Anything interesting, or anything interesting maybe that we don't have planned to talk about that you'd like to talk about right here off the bat?
It's a banner week for sports. I'm excited to talk about the Knicks. I'm a diehard Knicks fan, so I can go on and talk about them for hours. But seeing all the international players who've been posted in the MLB has been interesting.
It is, yes.
Because there are a lot of speculation with Murakami, a lot of speculation.
I don't think he's going to be very good. We can
he can't hit fastballs.
With Tatsuya Imai. Yeah. And then Kazuma Okamoto. I think Okamoto is going to be the best one out of them all. But
Really? Over Ibai?
Yeah.
Ibai's like the second coming of Yamamoto.
Well, they said that about Sasaki, and Sasaki had a difficult year this year. He didn't come out as hot as people expected him to.
I know, but you saw the playoffs, and that he showed his true potential. So,
I agree, but can he sustain that for a whole season?
well,
He's
we'll
also
have to
not.
see.
He's not going to be a starter anymore. I think.
No,
he
he's-
is.
I think he's fully
He is.
transitioned into-
Gomes, the Dodgers GM, literally said he's going to be a starter.
The
But-
Dodgers,
but that also
the Dodgers can
changes.
say whatever they want. Like it's at the end of the day.
You can never take the Dodgers by their word.
yeah.
like,
I mean,
I
they
know,
also
but-
have 15 starting pitchers. So
But let me ask you this: do you think
only-
Roki Sasaki would be like, "Yeah, I'm okay just moving to the bullpen"?
I don't.
I don't think so.
I
I don't think it
he
really
might.
matters.
In the end, he's gonna get paid. So.
Again, they have 15
Right.
starting pitchers. I mean, sure, he'll start a couple games this season. Then he'll
but
probably
in
get
like
hurt,
an
and then
opener,
he'll come
he's
back.
gonna throw 4 or 5 innings, 3 or 4 innings, and then they're gonna pull him and then have a bullpen game.
Yeah, the Dodgers basically adapted what people do in the NBA now. Is just they just load manage all their players until when the games really matter in September and October.
And then you have Yamamoto throwing 96 pitches and then coming in relief.
right.
It's insane. It's not a real team. Can't
But
get
yeah,
behind the
back-
Dodgers.
The big name is obviously Munetaka Murakami, and he's going to probably get the biggest contract out of all of them. The
It's gonna
thing
be a
is,
bust. He's gonna be a bust.
I think he hit something like 087 against fastballs. He hit 0 home runs, fastballs over 93 miles an
Yeah.
hour. He hit 0 home runs on fastballs over 93 miles an hour. And, coming off of, what was it, the 2022 or 2023 World Baseball Classic, where he kind of went crazy, a lot of people expected him to kind of force himself to be posted that year early. It didn't end up happening because he struggled so much in Japan that next season. And then he struggled even more, so to speak. I know the stats look fine, but the underlying stuff is not ideal.
Right. And you also got to think about that in Major League Baseball, every single pitch is 93 with movement.
Yeah,
So
it's
if
But
you
also-
hit a
it's not
fastball-
Also-
93. It's 90.
98.
It's
yeah.
a 98 mile an hour Emmanuel Clase cutter
As
sore
a- as
topic,
an-
but
As a Yankees hater and a Mets hater, to be honest, I'm very excited for one of those two teams to offer him just the most insane contract you've ever seen, and
pay
for
it.
him be in the MLB for maybe 2 years before they're like, this guy can't play.
Right.
So I'm really excited for the massive contract that's going to be handed out for the
and they're gonna have to
potentially the
pay him
biggest bust.
forever
Yeah, I mean,
because it's gonna be like a 7-year deal
Yeah.
worth like
yeah, it'll get stretched out to
Yeah,
like
he's-
30 years.
because
For everything.
the Dodgers
For
deferred
everything.
contracts.
Yeah. The important thing about signing Murakami, though, I think, is not just about the player or any of the Japanese players, is that all these teams have said that they want to establish a foothold in the Japanese market for when the next like Otani or Yamamoto players come over. So even just sort of signing these like mid-tier or lower-level players that maybe are going to change your franchise can have a lingering effect down the line.
The
that's
Dodgers are
positive.
already half of the Japanese national team already. Like they have such an insane international core just in Japan, and they're already established as the spot where the Japanese players go because you have Sasaki, you have Otani, you have Yamamoto,
Yeah, but I mean, you also have the Cubs, right, with Seiya
And
I guess
Imanaga.
Shota's back, and then I don't know, Darvish. Everybody wants to play with Darvish. Everyone loves Darvish, but nobody wants to actually play with him.
no,
Right.
because he doesn't want to play for a good team. So it's a curse. But I'm excited. This next couple months of baseball are gonna be interesting. I don't know what the Yankees are doing. They're driving me insane. I don't know about that Trent Grisham. 22 million for Grisham is a little
Yeah,
much, but
that was unfortunate for the Yankees.
but I don't know if do you guys think they might bring back Bellinger?
I don't know. I feel like you kind of have to.
But then what is giving Trent Grisham 22 million say?
I think they have to get
it's a
one of-
1-year contract,
yeah.
to be fair. I don't really know what the Yankees front office is doing, but I feel like we've been saying that for 5 years now. We don't know what the Yankees front office is doing.
Cashman has to go. It's not even a question anymore. Cashman has to go.
You see, he was sleeping outside the other day.
No,
His-
he
his-
does that every year. That's
his annual thing.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's a normal thing. He does it to stand in like solidarity with homelessness, but instead of like actually like doing something, he just sleeps on the floor.
Right.
So
Oh, that's kind of cool. But yeah, other players that got non-tendered or that, well, Trent Grisham got tendered a contract. Another player that didn't get tendered a contract, and I'm gonna bring it up because I know Mr. Shorey is. Oh well, no, he's not anymore.
Mr. Shorey's gone.
He is gone. I was gonna bring up Adolis Garcia not getting tendered a contract.
Tragic.
Yeah.
World Series hero just a couple of years ago. Terrible season last year. Didn't end up getting tendered a contract by the Rangers.
He's gonna go insane this year.
Yeah,
You
he
got-
is.
you have
He's
my
gonna hit
word.
like 40 home runs.
He's
No,
gonna
he's
hit
not.
45
He's a
home
bum.
runs.
He's
He's
a
gonna have
bum. He's not.
125 RBIs.
No, he's not. No, he's not. He's
I think
not
he
good.
might. He might.
He's had one good season his entire career, and people think he's like an elite player. He's not. He's not that good. Kind of same thing with everyone on that Rangers team except for Corey Seager. He's really the only good player on that
You
Rangers
don't
team.
think you don't have no faith in Marcus Semien?
No, I don't. I don't think
No,
he's that
but
good.
not
he's
anymore.
washed. He's so washed.
I don't think he's that
Yeah.
good. The bat has
Yeah.
gone
In
completely.
his prime, you had to give him those flowers a little bit at least.
His prime, yeah. The
The
with,
2 years. It was like 2 years where he
with
was
the
good.
Blue Jays, maybe. I don't think he's been. And then the first year with the Rangers, I think he was decent. The last 2 years, the bat has gone completely.
So
he's
was the
been
glove
terrible.
too.
And the glove
he's
is-
kind
the
of just
glove's
a singles
been-
hitter now, to be honest.
The glove's been kind of below, like it's been about average, and he's kind of living on reputation as this elite defender that he just isn't anymore. The bat's not there. The whole Rangers team is overrated, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I agree. They got rid of Jonah Heim too, so
Yeah.
they need to revamp their entire offense.
I
And
mean,
the
but
first
Jonah
thing they
Heim-
need to do
Jonah
is
Heim
trade
did
Corey
see
Seager
himself-
to the Dodgers.
100%.
Jonah
100%.
Heim
Well,
did
not to
see
the Dodgers,
himself
just
lose
trade him in
some-
No,
general.
lose
to
some
the
playing
Dodgers.
time,
They
though,
need to
so
trade him to the Dodgers.
That's
Yeah.
a Dodgers fan sitting right there as
Yeah,
well. So
and we're gonna bring back Bellinger too. Yankees can have Kyle Tucker though, so you won't be too upset.
that'll be another interesting thing: is where does Kyle Tucker end up signing? Same with Alex Bregman.
Kyle Tucker, you are a New York Yankee.
No, he's not. I don't think the Yankees are gonna do much in terms of
I don't
free
even
agent
know anymore.
signing.
give
I think
up.
they'll just bring back a lot of the guys. Maybe try and bring in a pitcher, but I don't
bullpen.
know.
They let go of half their bullpen yesterday.
yeah. But with bullpen arms, I'm a big believer. You should never give a reliever a big contract. It should never happen. It never works out. Just look at Devin Williams. Just look at the first year of Josh Hader. Josh Hader now has been good, but Rafael Montero,
Tanner Scott
Tanner
serving up
Scott,
Meatball Marinara
Tanner
this
Scott,
year.
yeah.
He was so bad, dude. Oh my
Kirby
gosh.
Yates a couple of years ago got that big contract and went completely just.
He's
was
non-existent.
terrible.
Really?
Yeah,
No, Kirby Yates had a great year at the Rangers, 2024. He had like
Yeah,
a
but
190 ERA.
he's not on that big contract anymore. It
No,
was-
this year the Dodgers gave him $13 million. And he had a 6 ERA.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. You
yeah.
you should never pay a reliever. Relievers should never be paid. You can find someone to pitch well enough for you out of the bullpen.
Right.
But yeah, I mean that's baseball talk in November. Thank you very much. One other thing I wanted to just hit on real quick before we get into the bulk of our show and talk about more relevant things was World Cup is now we're just a little bit over 6 months away from the World Cup.
It's gonna be
taking place
insane.
in
It's gonna
the
be
US.
insane.
We've seen a lot of teams start to qualify. Shout out Scotland. That was
Shout out Curacao.
Curacao, I believe, is the smallest nation to ever qualify. Or Haiti, actually. Haiti just qualified. They're the smallest nation to ever qualify for the World Cup, which is very cool. A bunch of teams qualifying for the first time since the 90s, since 98. Shout out Scotland was absolute scenes. They had an incredible game the other night. And my TikTok has just been full of Scotland fans losing their minds. The halfway line goal, Scott McTominay scored an overhead kick as well. And
It's
it'll
gonna be
pretty
an
interesting.
insane.
Also, another thing is one of the good things about a lot of these smaller nations qualifying is because the U.S. is a host nation, they're in pot one with all like the other top tier teams. So there's a decent chance that they get a pretty favorable draw out of the group, and potentially we're looking at hopefully at least a round of 16 run, because it is 48 teams now. So the round of 16 is going to be the second round outside of the group stage. So round of 16, maybe the quarterfinals would be nice. The way they're playing right
Let's
now,
talk
though,
realistic.
I mean, Poch is terrible. So, and he does not care about the U.S. national team at all, and he's just looking for his next job, which kind of been the way it has been all since he got hired. But I want to be just a little bit optimistic for what could potentially be the best run for the United States at a World Cup on home soil, which would be incredible. Will it happen? Who knows? But that's been soccer talk in November. It's been baseball talk in November. It's been
A little potluck here.
yeah. You just that's what you get when
fitting.
you get a bunch of guys who haven't talked sports live on air in a while. You just get
little
them
bit of
talking about
everything.
anything
Get
and
a
everything that they
smorgasbord.
want. But
Smorgasbord action.
we will head into a break, and then on the other side of the break, talk about the actual sports that you care about in November, starting with college football. And the first game's going to get kicked off here in about 45 minutes. We'll talk all things college football that you're going to see on this Saturday. We'll talk storylines. We'll talk Lane Kiffin and James Franklin. and everything else you could possibly want to hear on the other side of this break.
What's up, everyone? I'm Chris Carino.
I'm Brendan Shorey.
And I'm Tucker Austin.
Your Fordham football broadcasters for the 2025 season.
Join us every Saturday on 90.7 FM and on WFUV Sports YouTube page for live radio broadcasts of every Fordham football game as the Rams continue their quest to their first Patriot League title since 2014.
With a new look offense and veteran leaders on defense, you won't want to miss this. Fordham football, every weekend on WFUV Sports.
What's up, everyone? I'm Brendan Shorey.
And I'm Joe Henry, your 2025 New York Jets beat reporters.
Follow along with us every Sunday as we cover and analyze all things JETS.
With a new quarterback at the helm, can Aaron Glenn right the ship and cause chaos in the AFC East?
Stay updated every week with game updates and recaps from @Brendan_Shorey
and @JoeHenry_4 on X.
WFUV, your home for Jets football.
And we're back. It's time for college football on this November Sunday. We are 1 week away from rivalry week, 2 weeks away from championship week, and just 2 weeks and 2 days away from the college football playoff being announced. But this week we do have what a lot of people like to call SEC Cupcake Week. We've got storylines galore in the coaching search, and we've got a couple of ranked matchups as well to talk about. And if anyone listening out there has anything they'd like to say, anything to chime in, or, strong takes about Lane Kiffin, strong takes about James Franklin, or strong takes about,
Anything.
ACC teams in the college football world, go ahead and call in at 718-817-2750. We would absolutely love to hear your takes. We would love to debate you, and we'd love to answer any questions you have. That's 718-817-2750. But let's get right into it. I'm going to start. I think we start with the most recent news, the most pressing news, which is the Lane Kiffin saga. He is currently the head coach of Ole Miss. He's been rumored to be in talks with the LSU job and the Florida job, basically since they opened. So we're going on, the second month here of Lane Kiffin rumors.
Also with the Lane Kiffin stuff, look at his the family situation that they had with Ole Miss and LSU. I
don't think that plays a big role in it.
It adds a little bit to the fire, because they had the beef earlier this year. They came after each other, and then now he's looking at a $90 million offer from them.
Yeah, I mean, that's Lane Kiffin, though. He loves to be a troll on Twitter. But a little bit more on the background of this is, Lane Kiffin has been historically been seen as one of the villains of college football, maybe known as not the most ethical guy. There have been some controversies surrounding him. He's bailed on teams before. But this season, all throughout the season, he said he would never leave a job for the money. He would never leave Ole Miss. He's completely bought into this season. He's not talking to other teams. He's not actively in contract negotiations. Obviously, overnight at about 4:30 this morning, it came out that he was actively in contract negotiations. And just kind of a sketchy thing to do, especially when you're actively the number 6 team in the country. You still have an outside shot of playing for the SEC championship game. You are definitely one of the names, the teams floating around as title contenders to win a national title. You've got probably the best team or one of the best teams in the history of Ole Miss, and just like 4 days ago, you said that you're completely focused on coaching in the Egg Bowl. You will coach in the Egg Bowl, and kind of scoffing at the idea that you would potentially leave. And it has not sat right with a lot of Ole Miss fans. Ole Miss fans kind of across the board just seem to be done and out on Lane Kiffin at this point. I've talked to a couple. I've seen a couple on Twitter fully just they want him gone. They want to reset. And they even if Lane Kiffin wasn't to accept this contract from LSU, it seems that the relationship has soured a little bit with the Ole Miss faithful. And if he does stay, which at this point seems very unlikely, if he does stay, it's going to take a lot to rebuild the trust and the kind of the passion of the Ole Miss fan base that they had in this Lane Kiffin team and in Lane Kiffin as kind of their coach of the future and the guy to take them finally to the promised land in the SEC. But George, I'll start with you. What do you think what are your thoughts on this Lane Kiffin saga?
I think that he could just be using this LSU discussion as a negotiation tactic with Ole Miss. I think he means it when he says he wants to stay. I do. That could just be me trying to see the best in people, but
I think it's you trying to see the best in people.
I think he could. I think he wants to stay, and I think he's just waiting for Ole Miss to make the contract offer. Because I think if Ole Miss offers him something similar in the realm of what LSU will, he'll stay in a heartbeat.
Ole Miss has already offered or said that they will match this current $90 million, and I believe Florida has as well.
He's not going to Florida. He's. I think he openly said something about not wanting to go there at all.
He's also openly said that about LSU. I don't really take anything he says at face value because, again, Lane Kiffin is the ultimate troll. He says things. He goes places. Just look back to his time at Tennessee and USC. He's not historically known as a guy of high moral character, and this is just another. He spent the last 7 years or 6 years, however long he's been at Ole Miss, kind of trying to rebuild and revamp his image, and
he has the team. That's the thing.
This 4-week saga has thrown that completely out the window, and everything that he's preached and everything that he's built himself up to be as the head coach of Ole Miss.
I think he wants to bring this team to success. Yes, they're they're sixth in the nation right now, but is that really what the end goal? The end goal is always a national championship. And I think that he wants to bring this team. And I think he sees that this team can do it. I don't know about this year, but I think next year they're going to be higher. They have more of a chance. I think if he stays, he can be the coach to do it.
I see. That's the other thing is Ole Miss does not have the resources that either LSU or Florida has. They've kind of committed these resources. I believe they promised him north of $20 million in NIL if he stays. I don't know where they're going to get that, so they've got to find that somewhere. But the issue is this is a team very transfer laden, very old. Trinidad Chambliss will be gone next year. Kawan Lacey, I believe, will be gone. Well, he'll probably go to the NFL draft, so he'll be gone as well. Austin Simmons will still be there if that's where he wants to go. But again, Austin Simmons got benched this year. I'm not sure what the relationship is like there. And it's very likely that he leaves as well in the transfer portal if Kiffin stays. If Kiffin goes, potentially Austin Simmons stays as the quarterback of Ole Miss. But there's just a lot of question marks on what this roster is going to look like next year. So for Kiffin's side, why not take the money and go to a team like LSU where you don't know what the roster is going to look like either, but they've kept a lot of the commits have stayed committed. A lot of the players have been there for a couple of years now, and it seems unlikely that they would transfer out if Kiffin was to come. And then Kiffin has been a great portal recruiter, so he'd be able to bring in a massive class alongside a team that has a lot of talent and just hasn't performed this year, versus if you went to Florida, which is what a lot of people coming into the season, that Florida team people thought was a top 5 tein in terms of talent. DJ Lagway, a lot of people thought was a top 5 quarterback. Obviously, he has not been that this year.
That's the biggest overestimation I've ever seen. Like, DJ Lagway caught so much early love, and I never saw it. I never had faith in him. He passed the eye test, and then it just all failed.
Yeah, I mean, again, but at the end of the day, what I'm trying to get to is that Lane Kiffin, there's not a whole lot keeping Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss besides from him being Ole Miss's current head coach and him kind of building up the Ole Miss program to where it is today.
Right.
But outside of that, the roster's not going to be there next year. He's going to have to kind of do a complete.
But that's
portal
something he's
class
good
bring
at.
it. Yeah, but again, he can do the same thing at Ole Miss or at LSU or Florida and have a more talented roster and more resources. So, again, it's going to come down to whether or not what Lane Kiffin has said is something he actually believes and something he's actually or if he's actually, going to hold true to what he said, going to be a man of his word and say, he said he would never leave a job for the money. He said he loves Ole Miss. He says he wants to be the coach of Ole Miss.
But you don't trust him.
One, I don't trust him. Two, I don't really see why he would stay when, again, LSU and Florida are significantly better jobs in terms of resources, commitment, and history. So
But what if he sees this as like his he's done? He just wants to stay. He's done moving around. He wants to finish his brainchild.
Yeah, I don't know. From my very limited knowledge of college football, how could you turn down $90 million and moving?
If another school, but if the school that you want to be at is offering it,
Right, but LSU and Florida have more money and resources to recruit players through the transfer portal. So, like, what more could you want other than money and winning? Like,
I understand that, but I think that he would catch more flack leaving in the end because he's like, I'm going to a powerhouse now. I've never won the SEC on my own. I've never done this on my own. I've done it. I've done it under Saban, and now I'm gonna just go and poach.
yeah,
in a
but
way.
what I'll say is if you win the national championship and you have $90 million in your bank account, who cares what people are saying about
And
you?
Griffin in the booth actually would 100% agree. He said, if you have $90 million sitting in the bank, I don't think you really care what people think about you. If you have $90 million.
What would he think about himself though? Like
Dude,
that dude has an
nobody thinks
ego,
about
and
that,
and
bro.
you no he has
Lane
an
Kiffin
ego.
does not care.
He-
Lane Kiffin doesn't care.
He cared enough to start commenting on his daughter's Instagram posts when he was playing against LSU. There's an ego there, and that's what I'm saying. I think he wants to do something on his own, not hanging on off the bootstraps.
He doesn't care. $90 million is $90 million. At the end of the day, that's what it is. I think he'll probably get that same amount from Ole Miss anyways. I think Ole Miss is going to match the contract no matter what. I just don't see anything keeping Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss from a purely football aspect, because LSU's got the history, they've got the donors, they've got the NIL commitment, and they have a better roster going into next year with less to do. And I would say the same thing about Florida. I think Florida has less to do on that roster. I think the talent at Florida is it's a very, very talented team. And if he were to go to if he were to leave, as it's another SEC team with better resources, he's going to raid this Ole Miss roster, and a lot of those guys are going to follow. So I don't think there's anything keeping him there, because his guys are going to go with him kind of no matter what. So there's no real tie to the program. But to move off of the Lane Kiffin aspect of this,
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing in that, and unfortunately, this is just the way that college sports works nowadays. It's just a totem pole that you basically try to ascend. You go from playing for Kennesaw State, and this works for coaching and playing, from Kennesaw State to, San Diego State to Ole Miss to, you just work your way up the ladder, and there's no point in staying on the same rung. But please continue.
Yeah. What I want to hit on real quick is the player side of this, in that your coach has been kind of wrapped up in this controversy / storyline for a large portion of the season. It comes out, the week of your rivalry game that's going to close out your season or your regular season. And it's kind of been rumored that there's going to be a decision right after the Egg Bowl. And so how do you as a player play for a coach that you're 60 to 70% convinced is going to leave? How are you convicted enough in your coach when he doesn't even really seem to want to be there or care enough to say, hey, I'm going to wait for these negotiations until after the season? Because if you're Lane Kiffin, you're the number one target in the coaching search for everyone. All roads lead to you. You kind of have the ultimate leverage in this situation because, sure, LSU could say, hey, take this or we're going to go get someone else, but you're the best coach that's available right now. So you can say, hey, we're going to wait till after my season is over. I'm currently coaching to win a national title. I don't need to be here, or I don't need to have these conversations until after the season. Instead, he's chosen to kind of lean into it, make it maybe a bigger deal than it needed to be. We've now got flight trackers going. He's flying from flying from Oxford, Mississippi to Baton Rouge, Louisiana to Gainesville, then back to Oxford. He's he's tweeting out, all I'm doing is going to watch my son play football. He's tweeting out pictures of flight plans. He's tweeting out pictures of different flights like Oxford to Baton Rouge.
He's on the plane to Toronto. No, he's not on the plane to Toronto.
Shout out Shohei Ohtani.
But I think that as a player, you just during a time like this, you just have to be selfish and you have to say, I'm gonna focus on what's best for me. I'm gonna do what's best for me. I'm gonna play my best football because I'm trying to go to the NFL. I'm trying to win a national championship.
Yeah,
that's what you have to do in these situations where your coach is under flack.
Yeah, I agree. Plus, players are and I mean this in the best way possible, players are the most selfish people in the world. They only care about themselves.
100%.
And they have a weird way of dealing with these situations that us as fans could never really understand.
Oh, for sure, because they're doing things that we can never do. We're on our couch, typing on Twitter. They're the ones that are actually out there working.
Yeah, it's so weird now that I'm at the age where I see all of these people who are my age or younger than me
100%.
going out and doing all these things, and I'm just eating a bag of Doritos.
Cooper Flagg's 2 years younger than me.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's insane.
I feel so awful about myself.
100%. I feel like a failure every single time I turn on my TV.
Yeah,
it's brutal. James Franklin?
Yeah, we could talk about James Franklin. We'll get into that actually right now, which is kind of
good for him.
The exact situation I was sort of talking about in a manner of speaking. Obviously, he was fired from Penn State, had the third biggest buyout in the history of college football.
I don't think he was the problem in Penn State.
He obviously was not the problem. They're going to struggle now. But he's already gotten 4 former Penn State commits to flip to Virginia Tech. This weekend,
once again shows that he wasn't the problem in Penn State. I want to make that clear.
Once again, this weekend he's got 8 former Penn State commits visiting Virginia Tech, as well as bringing in 2 former Virginia Tech head coaches in Brent Pry and or maybe not a head coach, but former Virginia Tech offensive coach. He's bringing them, or kind of reached out to both of them to see their willingness to come back as coordinators. He's fully bought into Virginia Tech, and
they're going to be so good.
Hang on, did you guys say
good.
did you guys say not the problem at Penn State?
I don't think it was a problem at Penn State.
1 in 14 against top 10. 1 in 14 against top 10 opponents in his career at Penn State.
That's a personnel issue. He had no quarterback. Drew Aller was not a good quarterback.
It doesn't matter. You're in charge. If it's a personnel issue, he's had multiple years to be in charge of that recruit. In the end, the head coach isn't the end all be all of this. Head coaching is more
in college football.
Head coaching.
More so than anything. Personnel is your problem if you're the head coach. Go recruit better players. But it is.
It is.
I mean, that's a crazy take.
Way more than
no.
George,
That's
you're
a crazy
wrong.
Take.
I completely disagree.
George, it's the most that you can put on. Personnel is more the coach's responsibility in college football than debatably any other sport that we play in the United
the head
States.
coach personnel is more a part of the head coach's job.
There's politics though.
What?
No, you're just objectively wrong.
No.
George.
So
there's
the head
politics.
The head coach is more impactful to personnel on the field than they are to the offense or the defense because they don't call the offense or the defense.
Yeah, they don't. They literally.
I'm talking about who they like. I'm talking about who's playing. I'm not talking about taking control of the team that they're given because they don't.
They're not given a team.
They're not given a team.
That's all they do.
A head coach in college football
that's all they do,
is solely responsible for who the players
George,
are.
Look up Dan Lanning. I guarantee you what Dan Lanning's routine for the past even during the season at Oregon is going to Florida, going to Texas, going to like Michigan.
Because
all he does is recruit.
He's told
By
to.
who?
By the ADs, by the they're it's a
that's
bigger
absurd. That's
it's
absurd.
It's a complete bigger.
That is absurd.
You're so wrong.
There are so many people
So you're
behind
telling
closed
me
doors who
you're
make
telling me
more calls than the
you're
head coach.
telling me Nick Saban didn't
There
have sole responsibility for who was on his football team.
That is completely.
No, it's not. No,
That's
it's
an
not. No, it's
anomaly.
not. No.
What
No,
coach is
no.
there for 30 years coaching the team? No one's
James
there for that
Franklin was
long
at
anymore.
Penn State for 10 years.
Yeah, if
he
you
was
can-
the only person
Well,
in charge
and
of
then
recruits.
George, I was
there
there
was
to-
nobody
George,
else in
George,
that
there
building.
were-
There was
there were
no one else
people
on that
behind
campus
doors.
who had any say in
There
who
were
was on that
people
team.
behind the doors who were pulling
George,
strings.
if you,
Bro,
I would
what-
dare to
what
say
are we
that's even
talking
worse.
about?
If you want to make the argument that he was 10 years in and didn't have any personnel control,
No,
I
I'm
would
not
say
saying
that's
he
even
was the
worse.
only
I'm not saying
person-
pure personnel control.
There was not a single
There's
other
not-
person at
there's
Penn
no
State in
pure
charge
person.
who had a if James Franklin
There are
didn't want a
people
kid on his
behind
team,
closed
that guy was
doors.
not going to be on the team.
Wait, if he doesn't control personnel, then why are all these dudes flipping to Virginia Tech?
I'm talking about them because they see him
'Cause
as
he
a
recruited
coach.
them.
They see him as a coach. They played for him.
'Cause he
They
recruited
understand-
them.
He recruited. No. He is
There
the
are
only
people
reason.
behind closed doors who make
You
decisions
are
as
so
well.
wrong.
No,
It's
I'm
ridiculous.
All right. If you're a recruit, just hear me out. If you're a recruit being recruited to play college football, you're not committing to an athletic director. You're not committing to boosters. You're committing to a coach.
A head
And
coach.
you're committing to a culture.
Yeah, that's
curated by
established
the
by
head
the coach.
Yeah.
At the school.
No, that is insane. That is insane. There's a
He's
reason.
gonna be able to go and say,
I think
played football.
Barrett's onto something here.
If you're a potential
Yeah,
NFL,
yeah.
if you're a potential NFL draft pick, you're committing to a coach because you think he's going to develop you. There is a reason when a coach gets fired or a coach leaves that half of his recruiting class goes with him because they recruited him and they know that he is the one that's going to get them there. They know that there is nobody else on the planet that is in charge of personnel decisions in college football except for the head college football coach.
Also, these are kids. Like I was talking to my roommate the other day. College football. The reason why a lot of coaches stay in college is because you get comparable money to the NFL at the highest level, but also you don't have to deal with a lot of the player politics because they're like kids, so you have like supreme control.
In the NFL, you have to answer to the owner. You have to answer to the GM. You have to answer to the president of
You
ops.
have to answer to the money.
Oh,
as
breaking
well.
news: Chris Paul's retiring. But continue.
Oh wait,
Oh.
what?
Yeah, after this season, this is last season.
Okay.
Just announced.
Wow.
No way.
We can
Yeah.
get into that in a second.
Okay, we'll get into
But
it
I
later.
want to stick on this. Again, you in the NFL as the head coach, you have almost no say in personnel, who gets signed, who gets drafted, or you have say in who gets drafted, but you have a lot less than the GM and who gets signed as well. In college football, you are the president of ops, you are the GM, you are the head
But
coach.
now with money involved, that's completely different.
It's not though. It's
How
not.
is it? How is it not different when there's millions of dollars involved? It's completely different.
Because you don't have say in who the players are.
Because
You might-
you could.
A donor may come to you and say, "Hey, I have $10 million. Where do you want to spend it?" A donor may come to you because
Or
you're
a donor may come to you and say, "I have $10 million, but I want this guy to come here."
okay, he doesn't have to play.
No. But then there's gonna be a bad luck. Then you're not gonna get the money next.
Well,
There's
the money's for the
there's
player.
so many
in
different.
that situation, the money's for the player.
But
so
then
if my athletic department is not paying this player, I don't care if he plays or not. He can leave if I don't want him to play. Right? I'm not the one paying him. Some donors paying him through NIL. Right? It's not like a boot and boosters give money to the program, but boosters give money because they went to the school and they care about the football program. They don't have say on who plays day to day, or they don't have say on who gets recruited.
if you
don't.
think that the people who are
Why
getting
do
the
you-
money
why-
have
wait,
no
no.
say
Why do you
in
think?
what
Why do you think coaches get fired for being bad recruiters? Because they are the sole responsibility for who gets recruited. It is an insane take to say that James Franklin didn't have authority on who was playing and authority on personnel.
I don't think
He
he had
doesn't have-
sole,
he doesn't
had
have
sole
full
authority.
authority.
I don't think he had sole authority.
He did. No,
That's
he
what
did.
I'm saying.
He did.
But you got to
I
keep in mind with
disagree-
all
I-
of these
I disagree
sports,
at all.
everything contract matters.
And that goes to college basketball, goes to college baseball, it goes to all of it.
I would say that James Franklin had the closest thing that you will ever see in these college football coaches have the closest thing you will ever see in sports to sole authority
There are so many people behind them who also have a say as well.
Who? There's not the Illuminati. There's not the Illuminati.
I'm
in
not.
Happy
I'm
Valley,
not
dude.
saying it as an Illuminati. I'm saying there are agents who have say. There are.
Can we
alumni,
Griffin, are you speaking on the actual mic, right? Or are
Can you
we
hear me?
arguing with? Okay, I didn't know if we were arguing with air right now.
No. You
Okay.
can hear me on the actual mic because this is.
There's the ADs. There's alumni who give the money. There are agents who argue for the money. There are so many more people. I'm telling you. I promise you. There are so many more people
You're
behind
the
closed doors.
You're the coach. You're the coach. You don't have to play them. Barrett's right. You literally.
It's
you're the
it's
closest
very
thing
different.
You
to
kind
a
of do
guy.
have to play them.
No, you do have to
Yeah.
play them.
Listen to me
you
here.
fully have to play them.
Money in college football is very different because I am not, as the school. Okay, so we'll take the Giants and we'll take Penn State, for example. If the Giants sign a player, the Giants are directly paying that player. If a player commits to Penn State's not paying that player. The NIL fund is paying that player. Boosters are paying that player. James Franklin doesn't have a salary cap.
Essentially the same
No, it's
thing.
not.
No,
It's not even
It's
close
way
to the
different.
same thing.
It's way different.
Look,
These
players,
boosters and these guys are all directly connected to the school.
Yeah.
there are
Yeah,
players
but-
sitting on the end of the bench getting paid $5 million a year, and no one cares that they don't play. The booster might care that he doesn't play, but then the booster just doesn't pay the next player $5 million.
At the end of the day,
He's
it's
And
not
then
in
you're
charge
losing
of
a player for
recruiting.
$5 million.
That doesn't play.
because
And
it
it's
doesn't
not
matter.
James Franklin's money.
Yeah, if James
The
Franklin
people who
didn't-
hired James Franklin are the ones
It's
controlling
not
him.
their money either.
They're
It's
controlling
not
his
their money
actions.
either.
No,
They're
George.
directly controlling his
No,
actions.
they're not.
George,
It's not their money.
George, what
it's
don't you
not their
understand?
money.
What
They
don't you
don't
understand?
care.
George.
All they care about is winning.
George. If
But they
you
also
were-
care about what they do.
George,
But it's not their money.
George, if I was gonna
It's
buy
not
you,
their money.
if I was gonna buy you a gift that you didn't want, and I spent that you don't care if you have, and I spent $20 on that gift, and then you don't use it and you get rid of it,
Do you care that you didn't
who
use
lost? Did you lose $20? No.
No, but it's behind. But
it? Yeah,
that was good.
exactly.
Yeah.
That was
exactly.
good. That was
Thank
good.
you,
That was
Griffin.
good. That was
Thank you,
good.
Griffin.
Griff, that was good. I like that one.
Oh, okay, that got heated. a
Good
little
segment,
bit there.
good segment.
That was nice. We'll
That was
clip
fantastic.
I learned a lot. I
We'll-
definitely
we'll
learned a
clip
lot.
that.
from that.
But yeah. Anyways, so James Franklin going to Virginia Tech. I think we're all very excited to see what he does there. He's already had a great start recruiting. He's thrown a couple jabs at Penn State about the airport. I think it's a great hire, and I think whoever got him was going to be set up for a lot of success. Penn State now is going to have to answer in a big way with their coaching search. I'm really not sure. I haven't heard a lot about what's going on there. They're going to have to answer in a big way because they're not going to get Lane Kiffin. So they're kind of competing with whoever loses out on Lane Kiffin for the number 2 in the coaching cycle, essentially. There were some rumors that Penn State might get Mike Elko from Texas A&M early. I don't think there was ever anything really to that. And it's completely impossible now because Mike Elko just got a massive extension at Texas A&M. So Penn State's definitely going to have to do some soul searching on who their next coach is going to be. But it'll be a very fun offseason, but we've got a lot of time until then to watch some college football, including this weekend, where we've got a couple of ranked matchups, only 2 this week. But we'll start off with Griffin's Oregon against USC. Two great receivers in this matchup in Mekhi Lemon and DeCorian Moore. Oregon, who has been kind of very highly ranked all season. They've been, I believe, as high as 3. Griffin, do you want to fact check me on that?
They were the 3 or 4.
Yeah, but
I
both Moore and Bryant Jr. are playing today. So
Really? Okay.
yeah, so that kind of swings it more even. So
It
for
does. It does
USC.
swing it even, but a lot of what's been talked about against for Oregon is that they've
We were second.
oh as high as 2. So Oregon's been as high as 2. USC, I believe, is as highly ranked as they have been all season. They are playing very great football. Jordan Maeva has got those boys rolling, and Mekhi Lemon has had an incredible season. For Oregon, a lot of the talk has been around how they've won. Maybe not as convincing against some of the lower tier opponents that they've played. But at the end of the day, if you win, you win.
Also, like that Iowa game, it was like was at
It was
Iowa.
at
and
Iowa.
And the weather was atrocious.
It was a classic Kinnick Stadium football
and their
game.
and their
in that
kicker hit like a 57-yarder. Or
No,
something
and
like that.
what I don't want to take away is that is a very talented, very good.
It's a tough team to play.
It's
I
a,
had
it's a
that
very tough Iowa team to play. They've been ranked at times this season.
before the season started, and before I knew like what Indiana was going to be like. I always said like our schedule besides Penn State is pretty easy. However, I always circled that Iowa game as like if they were going to drop one, it
Yeah.
would be that Iowa game. But is it kind of weird that like I feel like Oregon football's at a weird spot right now where like it's just so I feel like there's just no hype around it whatsoever.
There does seem to be no hype, and
because they're
a
not
lot
going
of
to
that,
make the game. They're not unless Ohio State chokes to Michigan again. they're not going to make the game.
There's some interesting scenarios for the Big Ten title. In that it's basically guaranteed to be Ohio State versus Indiana, unless Ohio State loses. Then there's like some weird tiebreakers and a lot of things happen. And
does anyone care though? Like Oregon won the Big Ten last year. And
again, it doesn't really matter who wins the Big Ten because you have the
Penn State was in the championship game last year. Like no one really cares.
Exactly, and then they haven't done anything. I think a lot of the reason there isn't a lot of hype for this Oregon team is people don't see them as national title contenders, right? Because they're the third team in the Big Ten. There's I don't really know how good any of the teams in the SEC are. I think it's going to be one of the national title is going to come down to Indiana or Ohio State, and I think a lot of the lack of we don't talk about it. We don't say anything good about A&M until it happens.
I think
nothing good will be said about A&M
can I
until
just
it
say
happens.
I think Oregon. It sucks for Oregon that I think also the reason why there's no hype is because Oregon was on top of the moon after beating Penn State, but then Penn State goes and just absolutely cooks Oregon's resume.
Well, again,
by
I think
ruining their program.
a lot of it has to do with they struggled early against Northwestern, who is a decent team, we'll say.
Yeah.
It's definitely a better Northwestern team than it's been in past years. They struggled early, ended up winning by 20. They struggled with a Penn State team they played a very close game with the Penn State team that has now been proven to be not that good. They lost to Indiana, obviously,
which was just I think Dan Lanning got outcoached.
Yeah,
honestly.
it wasn't great there, and then obviously they had the Wisconsin and Iowa games back to back, in which the offense didn't look great, and so that's where a lot of the skepticism around this Oregon team comes from. Is that in their games against even mildly talented opponents, they've struggled at times, and the offense has gone a little bit silent.
It's their defense. Their defense is carrying them.
Their defense is very good, and that's what we've seen in a lot of, honestly, these top contenders.
Although DeCorian Moore is pretty. Oregon's offense is good when they can figure it out. It's just they do struggle when they play against top tier defenses. Especially Dante Moore, I think, really struggles when he can't get into rhythm. I think he doesn't look that great.
Yeah, and the other tough part for Oregon is that they do have a pretty tough stretch here in USC and Washington to close out the season.
Yeah, they got to win both.
This Washington,
I think they can drop one and still make the playoffs.
I do think at 10-2 they'd make the playoffs. But this Washington team is by no means an easy win. They've been floating around the top 25 kind of all season. They've had some big wins. They've also gotten blown out in the big games that they played. I think they got, if I'm remembering correctly, they got boat raced by Indiana early in the season. Or maybe it was Ohio State. I think it was Ohio State that boat raced them early in the season, like week 5 or something. But since then, they've been very good. I think they've got 3 losses. Could cause Oregon to struggle. For USC, it's kind of the same situation. You're 6-1 in the Big Ten. You've already got 2 losses. But if you win out, there's a pretty good chance you make it. As well as if you win out, you're in a situation where if Michigan beats Ohio State again, you're in a situation where I think you make the Big Ten title game and you have a shot at winning the Big Ten, which guarantees you a spot in the playoff. So for USC, it's basically win out. That's your situation. For Oregon, you can probably drop one more, but there's definitely some skepticism around that team in that dropping one more definitely puts you on the bubble, especially if USC was to win out. Because then you have USC, Ohio State, and Indiana basically all guaranteed to make the playoff, and you'd be the 4th Big Ten team, which you'd be on the bubble competing with potentially a 2nd ACC team, potentially a 5th SEC team. So there's definitely some question, or there's some caution to be had about saying Oregon has the capacity to lose another game, but you feel pretty confident if you at least win one of these to make the playoff. And at that point, that's all that needed. All you got to do is get a ticket to the dance, and then you're in, you know?
Well said.
Thank you. The other ranked matchup is kind of a sketchy ranked matchup in that I don't think one of these teams has any business being ranked, and that is Mizzou versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma coming off the massive win against Alabama. The offense hasn't looked great.
Oklahoma being ranked 8th in the nation it doesn't seem fair. Being 8-2.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You just beat Alabama. You've been playing well since the Texas loss.
But you lost to Ole Miss.
Ole Miss is a very good team. I mean, I think Ole Miss has an argument to be the number 4 team in the country. I think that I don't have an issue with Oklahoma being ranked where they are. I do have an issue with Mizzou being ranked.
10, 11.
I don't know. But I do have an issue with Mizzou being ranked in that they're not a good team. They're on their third-string quarterback, who's a true freshman, who, granted, has played well since he's come in. But this is a team with 3 losses in the SEC. Has not looked particularly good at any point since Bo Prabula's gone down. Obviously, the defense is elite. Ahmad Hardy is obviously probably the best running back in the country. But the team just has not looked very good. The offense has struggled big time, and it's kind of a joke that they're ranked. I went on a bit of a rant about this on College Gridiron, WFUV's college football podcast, about what the committee's doing this year and how they're propping up SEC resumes and how they're propping up Big Ten resumes kind of at the expense of the Big 12 and the ACC. However, I do think Oklahoma is validly ranked at number 8. Mizzou being ranked is a joke. Tennessee being ranked is kind of a joke as well. And there are a couple other issues I had with the college football ranking this year or this week that probably will eventually be all evened out, and it won't matter because, again, only the top 12 teams make the playoff. But for this Oklahoma versus Mizzou game, I do fully expect Oklahoma to rout them. And if they don't, George, then them being ranked 8th won't matter in the end because you'll have been proven right that they didn't belong there.
Yeah. But it is what it is.
They have kind of struggled offensively, I will say, down the stretch. But they showed flashes, obviously, early of being an elite offense. The last, we'll say, 5 weeks have been a bit of a struggle. John Mateer has not played particularly great since returning from injury. But
he didn't look the same like he was before, though. He didn't. He doesn't anymore.
Exactly. But
he was. People were calling him the Heisman favorite earlier.
And he definitely was, but he's not played well really since the Auburn game or the Michigan game. They do have 2 straight ranked wins on the road against very tough places to play in Tennessee and Alabama. This will be a 3rd straight ranked game, or 4th straight ranked game, which again is a joke that Mizzou is ranked. But
but it's still a ranked game. You have to treat it legit. So.
But yeah, I fully expect OU to rout Mizzou. We'll see what happens. Those are really the only 2 big/interesting games going on this week because you have SEC Cupcake Week. You got Texas A&M's playing Samford. I believe Alabama is playing Eastern Illinois. Georgia's playing a 1-9 Charlotte team, and you've got Vandy's playing Kentucky, which really doesn't count. Texas is playing Arkansas. Honestly, that's one I would watch out for.
That one's sneaky. I was just about to say that.
That's a game I would watch out for because Arkansas's offense is legit. Taylon Green is a legit, top 20 quarterback in the country. Defensively, Arkansas has one of the worst SEC defenses I think I've ever seen. They're very leaky. Texas, though, they got to get off to a strong start. Arch Manning's looked honestly very good since probably the UTEP game. Or really since the
majority of Arkansas's losses have been less than 1 possession games.
I think if 1 possession games were flipped, Arkansas would be like 9-2 right now. Unfortunately, they're not, and they suck.
9-1.
9-1. Sorry, yeah. If 1 possession games were flipped, but a lot of that comes down to Arkansas having a terrible defense. So Texas is going to have to get off to a hot start. They've played very well, I will say, or Arch Manning at least has played very well, really since the Florida game. Except for the Georgia game last weekend, where he had a very rough stretch in the 2nd and 4th quarters. He looked great in the 1st and 3rd quarters when he was on script, but
I didn't think he looked bad.
Once he got off script, though, the 3rd or the 2nd and 4th quarters, he didn't play particularly well. If he does that again, they definitely are an upset watch this weekend. I do expect them, though, to win that, and honestly probably beat Texas A&M next weekend, just because that's what Texas A&M does. But we'll definitely have a better breakdown of that next week, because that'll be a very exciting week in rivalry week. But unless either of you has another interesting storyline in college football you'd like to speak on, I feel like we should probably move swiftly along.
Yeah, I definitely don't have another story.
I'm good. We covered everything, and I think we hit the nail on the head here.
Go Aztecs.
Let's
SDSU.
let's hop into some ball after the break.
Yeah, we are going to head into a break, but after that, we're going to continue this college sports focused start to the show, and we're going to talk some college basketball. What's been a very interesting start. We had a couple of great games last night, and we're going to be moving into the Thanksgiving tournaments, which are, as I mentioned in
Some
the
of the
open,
most electric things.
some of the most electric basketball you'll ever see.
Most definitely.
So, again, if you have anything you want to talk about college basketball, or even if you want to call back to college football, call in at 718-817-2750, and we will see you on the other side of this break.
What's up, everyone? It's Joe Henry, one of your New York Mets beat reporters for the 2025 MLB season. From Soto's slugging to Senga's strikeouts, I'll have you covered from Citi Field all year long. Follow me on X at JoeHenry_4 for exclusive interviews, game day insights, and live coverage of every play. So take a ride on the 7 train with me as the Mets continue their quest for World Series glory. WFUV, your home for New York sports.
You're listening to WFUV, New York.
Here we go. It's time for some college basketball. Everyone's favorite sport in March, but it's November. It's still probably
some people's favorite sport in November.
Yeah, if you're a John Rothstein fan, it's his favorite sport in July as well. That guy's an absolute nutter. I love him on Twitter. He's great to he's a great
He's a
follow
good
on
follow.
Twitter.
He's a good follow.
But yeah, if you got anything to talk about college basketball, if you want to talk about Fordham men's basketball as well, not many people do. I always like to talk a little bit of Fordham men's basketball.
I think
very few people do. Go ahead and again
not
call in at 718-817-2750. If you want to talk really anything, if you want to talk BYU NIL, we can talk BYU NIL as well.
BYU NIL bothers me.
It does bother me a little bit as well, but AJ DeBonsa is a stud.
He's so good.
He's so good, so I don't care. Honestly, whatever. Who cares?
He's the most NBA. He has the highest ceiling out of probably anyone I've seen in my life.
So is the Boozer twin at Duke. He's very good as well. I don't know which one it is. I think it's Cameron.
Cam. I think it's Cam.
Yeah.
The other one's Caden, I think.
Yeah, I think it's Caden. I almost said Carlos. That's the dad.
Koa Pete is very, very good as well.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of
They're
talent.
dogs. They're
There's
dogs
a
out
lot
there
of
right now.
talent.
They're dogs.
But
But the biggest beef that I have is the one and done. How everyone's a one and done now. There's no school spirit. Like there's no one playing 4 years trying to bring 4 national championships to a school anymore. That's one thing that bothers me. But I can get past it because it makes for some really good NBA.
It does do that. It does do that. So George, I'll let you talk about what's your favorite storyline so far in the college basketball season, and maybe honestly continue that into what tournament are you most excited about coming up?
Honestly, I'm excited for Fordham's little tournament because they got Colgate there. I know a kid on the Colgate
They
team.
got 2 D3 teams there as well, which is a joke.
I'm more excited to watch this kid that I know. He plays for Colgate, Cooper Wright. I'm excited to watch him play Fordham's team because it's like a little worlds colliding thing. So that's what I'm excited for. It's more like a personal connection to that one.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Players Era tournament because,
That's the Vegas one, right?
That's the Vegas one, and it's got a lot of good teams. It's got my San Diego State Aztecs in it. It's a funny story about how I became an Aztecs fan because I'm a Dodgers fan. I hate listening to San Diego sports radio, and they don't have any other major sports teams since the Chargers left, so I became an Aztecs fan. But they played in one of the craziest games this week against Troy, which was a bye game for SCSU, so they paid $80,000 to go to San Diego State. And Troy's they're an okay team. They can shoot threes, but this is a game that San Diego State should win 99% of the time. And they go down 3, and then Miles Bird hits this ridiculous half-court shot to send it to overtime. And then our guard, Reese Dixon Waters, sends it to double overtime with a floater. And then San Diego State loses, which is a brutal loss because now in the Players Era tournament next weekend, they're going to need to win 2 games against Michigan or Arizona to see if they can get an at-large bid again into the NCAA tournament. So that was really devastating. But the Troy thing is so interesting because then they go out and play USC, which major respect to Troy for scheduling 2 ridiculous games early on in the season, and they almost win that game.
Yeah, I know, it's insane.
Both games were ridiculous.
They're like a little like a little Cinderella story type.
Yeah, Troy USC. The first thing you think about when you hear that is the Iliad, but instead they go and they play this ridiculous triple overtime game where this USC makes a ridiculous game winner.
There was a D3 team, I think it was the CCNY, City College of New York, where they went out and played against a D1 team and they gave them a run for their money.
Yeah, I mean, Boise State lost a game to a Division II team as well early in the season, which was a very fun storyline. I think my favorite storyline so far is going to be Alabama, and Nate Oates is just a complete psycho with his scheduling. Listen to this. This is their first, 8 games of the season. They played North Dakota, so they won by 30, whatever.
Right.
Then they went at St. John's versus Purdue versus Illinois versus Gonzaga versus UNLV.
Purdue looks
versus
unbeatable,
Clemson
by the way. They
versus
look
Arizona.
unbeatable.
Yeah, Purdue looks great, but I mean that's what for Alabama. That's 5 ranked games and a game against Clemson, UNLV as well in their first 8 games of the season. I'm not sure what Nate Oates is doing, but if they manage to win all of those games, they're kind of set up for the rest of the season with an SEC schedule as well. In that, it would take a lot of losses at that point to miss out on the tournament, because
but the SEC basketball scene is it's broken. It's a how do I word it? It's a money game, and that's the biggest thing. It's a money game. Now college basketball is all a money game, so it's not like you're just giving a guy a free ride to the school and they play for you. But it's all how much can I give this guy to stay? How much can I give this guy to not transfer a year later? How much can I give to not go to the NBA? So it's all just a money game, and that's what's making the SEC basketball scene insane. And it creates for some good drama.
Yeah, I mean, SEC basketball and Big 12 basketball are some of the most fun things to watch ever. I love me some Big 12 basketball because those are games where you'll see 65-56 Houston games where they just absolutely dominate you defensively.
Yeah.
But Houston did actually just finally lose their number 1 ranking.
It's good to see
to
Kansas
Purdue,
back in the fold a little bit. They've had a couple rough years.
They have. I think that the Big 12 in general kind of goes under the radar for some of the lower tier team, not lower, but less talented.
Didn't Houston
teams.
have a good ride?
I mean, Houston's been the number 1 team in the country
they've been
for
the
the
number
last
1
3 years in a row. Kelvin Sampson is an absolute just mastermind.
They won a national title, right?
They have not.
Or
yet,
did they
no.
make the final?
They made the final.
Lost,
I believe 2 of the last 3 years they made the final, and they've just not been.
They've choked in the last 3
Yeah.
minutes. Yeah.
for Houston though, like they've had, I think this is probably their most talented team, and they've got speaking of money, Tillman Fertitta at Houston has just basically promised the entire athletics department as much money as they could possibly want ever. So for their football team, they just signed the University of Houston football just signed the number 1 player in the class of 2026. They just signed the number 15 running back in the class of 2026, and they've signed 3 5-stars, which for the University of Houston is absolutely absurd.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really understand. Like, I do understand it's because Tillman Fertitta is throwing just insane amounts of money at it, and when you're in Texas, you can recruit that as well, so you can have a little bit of the homegrown. But the same thing is happening.
Texas is a good state for majority of the sports.
It's the best state for almost every sport.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for basketball, the same thing's happening. Tillman Fertitta's just throwing the money at it, and Kelvin Sampson's going out and he's getting his players. And when you're as elite of a head coach as Kelvin Sampson is, it really allows you to kind of do whatever you want with whatever you have on the roster. So when you have elite players as well to go along with that, it's scary. Will they ever get over the hump? Who knows? But really, for the last,
I have faith. I think it could be done.
Yeah, I would say for the last probably 3 to 4 years, it's been. It's been a Purdue. It's been Purdue and Houston as the 1 and 2 team in the country, and
UConn,
they kind of keep going back and forth.
UConn's in there too.
Yeah, I think Arizona's the best team this year, in my opinion. I think they have definitely the firepower to get there. I don't know. I think they could definitely do it.
I think that I think Purdue is looking like the best team and one of the best teams of all time right now.
Yeah, but
they're looking insane.
They felt that way for the last 3 years, and then they lose in the Sweet 16 of the Elite
They're not
Eight.
beating a 15th ranked team in the nation by 30.
It's fair. It's a fair point.
30. This isn't a 10-point free throw game to where, with a minute left where you score 8 points off free throws. This is 30 against the team that's ranked 15th in the nation. That's a different type of beast. And I know my friends who goes to Purdue are gonna love hearing this, but I think that they're gonna win it all. It's not even close. I think it's gonna be a walk in the park for them.
Really,
they have top to bottom.
Really?
One of
I
the
don't
best
even know how
looking
you could
teams.
just say that about the NCAA tournament. Like it's a walk for anybody.
They've historically struggled. They've historically
that
struggled.
in hyperbolic, but they're playing good teams.
They're maybe favored on paper, but I don't know.
And I also think Braden Smith is going to be one of the biggest busts in the NBA of all time. Like I think he's going to play. He's going to be drafted very high because he's going to have another great year. And I think he's just not going to pan. I think he's going to be a G League demon.
Interesting. I see the thing about just saying Purdue is going to walk to a national title.
Walk to a national title is a stretch, but I meant that hyperbolic. But I think they're gonna be there, and they're gonna be there and with a force. Like they're gonna be the number 1 team. They're gonna be in the nation for the rest of the year. They're gonna make it into the Final Four, and that's when it's gonna get difficult for them. Like I think they're gonna be chilling for a long time this year. I that's my perspective on it.
They do also benefit from maybe a slightly weaker Big Ten as opposed to a team like Houston or a team like Alabama who has to run the gauntlet essentially in the regular season, or even like a UConn who has to play in a very tough Big East as well. The Big Ten is historically
like that,
not as great of a basketball conference.
And that's where I think teams like the UConns and the teams like the St. John's, even though I have a long-standing beef with St. John's, but that's where I think teams like that benefit because they're playing against higher level competition throughout the year.
So do you not think that's going to hurt Purdue then? I mean, you just.
I think this team is so good. This team is so good, and from the guards to the center and Daniel Jacobson to Trey Kaufman-Renn, who's a beast. They're just a well-rounded team.
Yeah, they do have everything. They have
That's
everything
the
they
thing.
need to make a run.
100%.
Yeah.
And they're a well-coached team as well. They have great coaching.
That is true. That is true. And they always have elite big men, but
and they did it with Zach Edey. Like
Right.
they did. They just always manage to have like 4 7'7" people
They
on the
do.
team at all times. It's insane. They have to be the tallest team.
and the best thing that I like about them is they pound old school basketball. They don't They don't crowd the 3-point line. They get the ball down low and they bang. And that's the way basketball's supposed to be played.
That's an interesting take.
Call me Unk. Call me Unk. Like that's just how it is for me.
Yeah, I mean, also, so we're going into Thanksgiving now. So we've got all of the feast week tournaments, so to speak, the midseason tournaments. You've mentioned players era a couple times. That includes we've got number 14 St. John's there, number 16 Iowa State, number 11 Alabama, number 19 Gonzaga, number 7 Michigan, San Diego State, number 2 Houston, number 20 Tennessee. Syracuse is in there with Kai and Anthony. There's a couple of other just I think basically no matter what matchup you look to there, it's going to be a great matchup, some great basketball.
The Players Era tournament is just like the whole week of just like fun basketball. There's not a single game that's like doesn't have an interesting storyline to go about because all these teams have futures through the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm. Another actually interesting one that could come up again is, wait, no, never mind. Ignore what I just said there. That's the one that just happened. But you've got the ESPN Invitational as well, which has AJ DeBonce, as we mentioned, will be playing. The A-10's very own Dayton will be in that one. Just some very fun. It's always fun. You got Maui. Maui's a good one. Maui's usually my favorite one to watch, just because it's in Maui, and you get all the storylines of the teams showing up and going on vacation essentially while they play basketball. You've got maybe a weaker slate than there have been in the past. Like last year's slate was incredible at Maui, but you've got a number 25 NC State team. You've got Seton Hall. You got Boise State, USC, Washington State, and Arizona State as well as Texas, who is maybe not the best in the world, but
Plus, you could just wake up at like 8 a.m.
there
and watch these games.
Yeah,
which is the coolest part.
It's
again,
good
there's
basketball.
nothing better.
It's a lot
There's
of
nothing better
basketball.
than Thanksgiving week, waking up at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and just going straight into basketball.
And you get lucky. You're able to play golf during your Thanksgiving.
Oh
break,
yeah,
too.
I will be golfing. I think I've already got 2 tee times booked. I'm very excited for it.
I'm
probably gonna hit the
stuck
range
here.
a couple times as well.
Stuck here in the freezing cold. It's heartbreaking. But I'm trying to look at a team that doesn't have a stacked, at least like a team in the top 25 that doesn't have a stacked lineup, and it's just impossible. Like everyone looks insane. BYU is scary good. AJ DeBance is insane, and if there's a team who's not usually going to make a run, I think that BYU team is going to be like a sleeper.
Yeah, I mean that BYU team could also be a new, and you hit on Kansas as well. So actually, this is something I'd like to talk about is, I guess the old guard of Blue Bloods versus the new guard of Blue Bloods. And you got teams like Kansas and Kentucky.
UNC is.
Yeah, but UNC and Duke are a little bit different because they're always going to have the funding because UNC has Michael Jordan and Duke is Duke, and Duke has the money and Duke has the donors and the boosters.
And the name.
But teams like Kentucky and teams like Kansas, who have been historically, even teams like Michigan State, who have been historically great programs, a lot of that comes from having great coaches, but maybe falling off a little bit in this NIL era because they don't have the funding and they don't have the backing that a team like now BYU does because they have the Mormon Church behind them. And could BYU be this first installment or this first wave of a new era of blue blood because they have the money and they just signed obviously the number 1 team.
SEC teams are the same way. That's like because they were never this level of present in the basketball scene.
I think something else that plays into the SEC being that level is the SEC being just pushed in general by its TV deals. The SEC has the ESPN deal. The SEC also, you see them. I think a lot of what plays into it is the football aspect as well. That's why maybe some of these Big Ten teams
110%
is because you see the SEC so much in terms of football and in terms of college sports being pushed in general. And so when you are a freshman or when you're a sophomore that's starting to be recruited, what teams you think of, what teams do you want to go to? You want to go to obviously the teams you see a lot. And so
when you see the SEC every weekend on college football,
so maybe even less so the SEC getting good because of the money. It's more just, which is definitely plays a part, but it's probably also a lot to do with purely just brand name, in that the SEC has the biggest brands in college sports, and so when it becomes a money thing, even if you're not getting paid more money, it becomes you have the best opportunity to make more money because you're at the biggest brand in college sports.
Fair enough.
Whereas what I'm talking about
fully
with
agree.
BYU is solely has the potential just purely because of
The church.
increase in
Yeah.
funding that this injection of funds that they've gotten, and if we're being completely honest, the only reason AJ Debonsa is at BYU right now is because he got paid an insane amount of
$8
money
per
to go
year.
there. Yeah, like that's whereas like Brandon Miller when he was at Alabama, sure it was the money, but it was also it's because it's the Alabama name, it's because of
Roll Tide.
the other aspects of the SEC and the ESPN contract and being able to play on TV as much as possible. Whereas for BYU, they're in the Big 12, right? So you have the Big 12 contract, but you also don't have as many opportunities to play on national television like the ESPNs.
That's why I think that has to also can help with the pressure thing in a way, because you're not on TV, you're not being seen live by millions like you would if you were playing at Duke, if you were playing at UNC, and AJ can go and cook these mediocre teams while still playing against high level talent and still be drafted second overall. So that's my little beef with the NIL. He gets to have like a relatively easier walk through the regular season,
Right.
and then everything's gonna show in March when they're an 8 seed in the tournament, where they're like a 3 seed, 4 seed in the tournament, doing their thing.
Yeah, but that's the best part about the tournament is that you see all these teams go up against these like number one powerhouse that have been playing on ESPN and TNT all year, and then you get these schools like BYU
Like FDU.
or San Diego State that year. Lamont Butler hit the game winner in the semis. They hadn't played a national TV game all year, and then they get to. That's what makes March Madness so great, though, and college basketball as a whole.
Oh, definitely, and the Cinderella stories just make everything better in the end. Like that's the thing. Like BYU lost by 2 to UConn, which I think says a lot. That it does. It says a lot, and then they beat number 23 Wisconsin by 28.
Yeah, I mean the thing about college basketball that I think is different than college football though
Is
is
the
that
rankings?
college basketball it literally only matters whether you win or lose, whereas college football
but
you
it
can
shows
look at
caliber, no?
you can look at the games more critically. Yeah, I think so, but like
that's why the ACC like their teams are always looked at more critically is because they're playing higher caliber teams throughout the year. No,
Yeah.
you're like when you're playing Duke and UNC are going up against each other, and you have teams like Miami and everything, and Louisville and Clemson even to an extent. Wake Forest is always a sleeper.
right.
Those are teams that are legit, and you always look for those ACC teams when it comes to March. You always look for those SEC teams when it comes to March, because they're the more powerhouse schools who are playing against the better caliber teams. No,
Yeah, I just think that of course all those teams are gonna make it to the dance, but when you look at getting into March Madness in general, you can look at like teams on the bubble or who
it's
may
just
not
just
get
a record.
It's just all that matters is the record. Where the committee for college football is way more subjective.
There's
And
where your
also-
politics you were talking about come in. Is the committee for college football?
Yeah. Does the committee care about head-to-head anymore in college football?
Obviously not.
Like,
we're
'cause
not-
the
we're done with
Miami
college
Notre
football.
Dame
We don't need
thing
to get into
that, like,
that,
I've heard. Yeah, okay.
Wasn't there a team that got screwed over by the committee last year? There was a big critical one. I forgot who it was.
I mean, there always is. But 2 years ago with Florida State.
Florida
and it-
State. That's who I was thinking of. But it's when it's Selection Sunday comes, you just Sunday, right? Selection Sunday.
Selection Sunday.
Selection Sunday comes around, you're gonna see teams but then there are also some random ones like back in the day when that 1 year FAU got that 8 seed.
Right.
When they made that deep run, like no one expected FAU to be that high or play that well.
Yeah. UMBC.
UMBC, FDU, St.
What was that?
Peter's.
What was that game? Remember that game Virginia lost to the 13 seed where Kevin Harlan had that crazy call on like the steal and then
Yeah.
what was that team? That 13 seed?
Oh my God, I know exactly. Who you're
Yeah,
talking
you know what I'm
about.
talking about? I'm going to find it right now. Furman.
Furman. Yes, it was
Well,
with the purple F.
Yeah, the purple
Yeah.
F, and they stole the ball and hit the three. That was like the same thing that happened in the Troy USC
There was
game
another. There was
a couple
another year.
nights ago where they had that.
Wofford.
Wofford.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wofford. I
Wofford
remember
had one of those
Wofford.
runs, yeah.
Wofford.
That was what, 2019,
It
2018?
was the year before COVID. It was 19.
Yeah,
Wofford had
19.
that like. Was that the team that had that like 5'6" white kid that hit like 36
Yeah,
points every single
yeah.
game or whatever for that team?
What was that guy's name? He ended up transferring to Bryant.
And he had a good.
Not Doug Eater. That was St. Peter's.
Doug Eater was St. Peter's, and then Jack Golke was.
Golke was Oakland.
Oakland.
Yeah.
What was that kid's name? Yeah, I don't know, but he was a stud. He lights out shooter.
Fletcher McGee.
Fletcher
McGee.
McGee was
Wow.
so good, dude. He was great.
Fletcher McGee.
He's playing in Montenegro now.
Wow.
He's playing in Montenegro, all because he had one good tournament run. Like, look
Probably
at
a
that.
good life.
I would give up like pretty much anything to just have one game like in the round of 32 to score like 36 points and knock out like Duke or something like that.
Oh, there is an insane. You get so much publicity from that too.
Yeah, think about all the edits I would get just from
The
that.
TikTok
oh
edits would.
my, g- it'd be insane.
5 years later, the TikTok edits would be insane.
Yeah.
I think we covered a lot here.
Yeah, I think we've covered most of the ground on college basketball, and unless something comes out at you at the last minute,
It's still early in the year, so throughout the year, these will get more intense.
But yeah, I think that was a good little discussion on the way to throw it back to Fletcher McGee and whatnot. But we're gonna take a quick break, and then on the other side of this break, we're gonna keep the basketball theme rolling. We're gonna talk a little bit of New York area basketball with the Knicks and the Nets, and then we'll kind of roll that straight into just what's going on in the NBA as a whole. But yeah, we're gonna head it to break. Talk about the Knicks and the Nets. I know this is one that's really going to get some people fired up. So if it does get you fired up, go ahead and call in at 718-817-2750, and we will talk to you on the other side.
Hi, this is Ben Oppenheimer reminding you to tune in to New York's longest-running sports call-in show, One on One. Catch One on One live on the WFUV Sports YouTube channel every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then later on 90.7 FM from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We'll catch you next Saturday on One on One.
Hello, we are back, and it is just, I couldn't name a better topic to talk about. I know George is really excited for this one as well, so I'll let you kick it off. Just
the Knicks are winning the East. Like it's not even a question. Knicks are winning the East, and they're going to give the Thunder a run for their money. The team is looking flawless. Well, not flawless. No team is ever flawless, but the team is looking very, very, very comfortable now. They came in a little rocky stretch where they went 3 for their last. They went 3-2, 2-3 to start the season, losing to the Heat, Bucks, and the Bulls. But ever since then, they've been coasting. They've been very, very, very good. They've went 2 for their last 3, and then since then they're 7-2. So I think this team really has some legit potential to make a run when it comes to April. I know it's a couple months away, but always have to look out for that. But
yeah, I don't know.
Even with Brunson being out for those couple games, they split them, and that was they went 1-2, but they had a nice bench reduction from Deuce McBride, Landry Shamet, Jordan Clarkson. The second unit is way deeper than we were last year, and it's very, very, very nice to see a team where they're swinging the rock more. They're moving the ball. They're not playing iso ball as much, and they're sharing the love. So this team, both offense and defense, has been very, very comfortable, and it's nice, refreshing to see under the new Mike Brown system.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't even think there's really another team in the East right now that is particularly
The Pistons
close.
are scary. The Pistons are scary. I promise you, the Pistons are scary.
Yeah, but they don't have any experience. Knicks have
They had the experience last year, and I think that's
they
what.
lost the last first or
And
second
they
round.
and they lost
Something like
and they
that.
lost to this team. They lost to the
yeah,
team
did
that
they
they're
had
gonna
that like
see.
Malik Beasley 3 where he was
That's
supposedly
not
fouled or
even
whatever.
He's far gone.
Regardless, the Pacers are not good anymore, right? The Celtics,
The Cavs.
the Cavs are okay, but I
The
mean,
Cavs
come
choke in
on.
the playoffs every year.
The Cavs are like the Brewers of the NBA. Like
Yeah.
nobody's scared of them, and the Celtics
Magic
are not
silently.
good.
Magic are silent.
I was at that Knicks Magic game where the Magic won. The Knicks looked way too Brunson reliant, but in all the other
Can
games,
I ask you a question then? What do you not think it's an issue? Does the 3-game losing streak not scare you at all, or do you think that's in the past?
No, that was in the beginning of the season. They were still trying to get their footing. They have their footing now. They know the basketball that they have to play. They had that close loss to the Heat. That bothered me, but I can get over that because that's
they've
one
now,
game.
They have
Yeah.
now lost to the Heat 2 times this season already.
That's fine. I'm not scared of the Heat. I'm not. I'm really not. When everything is all said and done, the Heat might just make the playoffs.
Yeah, they don't have enough star power.
And I'm not. No one's scared of the Heat. I'm not scared of the Heat. They're not a real contender. They're gonna go on a losing streak. They're bound to go on a losing streak, and they're gonna sell at the deadline, and because that team is in shambles. So, ever since that Jimmy Butler, Andrew Wiggins isn't a face.
Yeah, you can't hold a candle.
No, you can't. You can't have a team that relies on Andrew Wiggins in 2025. You want to tell me that in 2016 when he was drafted? Maybe. But you can't have an Andrew rely on Wiggins team in 2025.
Fair enough. And I mean, so far, like obviously early in the season, Mike Brown came out a couple times and said he was struggling with rotations and didn't really know what to do with them yet. He was
got
learning.
it now.
Yeah.
You like what he's been doing recently
love
with
it.
rotations? or?
I wholeheartedly love it because it's giving variety. You have a team where we have Josh Hart coming off the bench and you have Landry Shamet starting instead, and that's a team where they can live with that lineup. They're okay with that lineup. You could put in Deuce McBride. You start him instead of Shamet. You start Josh Hart if you need to go bigger. You have a team where you have opportunities for everyone to shine. And that's where you unlock the real potential of these guys. Like I think that he could bring in a G League guy, like on the bench G League guy, and develop him. He did it with the Kings.
Yeah.
He did it with the Kings. He brought the Kings to their first playoff berth in like 25 years.
But then the next year they were pretty bad and he got fired.
But that's different. That also Fox was out for half the year, that year too.
Yeah.
So that's another
Yeah.
discussion. Like De'Aaron Fox, a franchise player, you lose your franchise guy.
De'Aaron Fox not a franchise.
I think he is.
player. No.
I think in some systems he could be the franchise guy.
No.
You could build a team around him,
They did build a team around him, and they
and they made the playoffs. But they also brought in.
But that's
too
all
many,
they did.
They made like the
They too many-
play-in, and they
That's
lost
that's
2 games.
that's different. But it's still better than what was going on before that. They were a lottery team before that.
I'd rather be a
but
lottery team than a middling team that has no future.
It brings a sense of it brings a fan base. It brings this culture around the team, and I
Look
think
at the
that
Kings'
helps.
culture now; it's awful.
Because they sold Mike Brown for a bad reason. Everyone was bothered when they fired Mike Brown. It was a bad move on the Kings' part. I fully believe that Mike Brown is a very, very good coach. He is the coach that this team
I think
needs.
he's a good coach too.
And the Kings messed up by selling him, and the Knicks benefited off of that, and they're going to.
No, I think he's a good coach too. And the one thing I want to say about the Knicks that I've been impressed by the most is like, you've seen how many different ways they could win games. Like you saw that against the Heat, they've had like 2 good shootouts against the Heat, and then they've also won like these close games against Dallas.
Landry Shamet 2
That
clutch
was
threes there, by the way.
Awful
Landry
call, by the way.
Landry Shamet,
In that
No,
Dallas
was it?
Knicks game, it was an awful call. The hook came after the bump. Yeah, the hook came. Awful call. Awful call. New York totally got it rigged for them. That was an awful call.
For those of you who will eventually be listening on the radio, George is standing up, mimicking.
He's making a hook gesture.
mimicking the hook
It's
call.
really
I don't-
bad too.
It was-
by the way, you can't even really tell what you're doing. It just looks like you're like hugging.
Looks like
half
you're
the
doing like
air, to
half
be
of a
honest.
breaststroke.
Yeah,
well,
it was not
well,
good.
well, he hooked him. He
After
full
he got bumped.
He yanked him and threw him.
Okay,
That is the bump. The bump is initiated contact by the driving player. That's That's a no call in every book.
No. He moved out. Whatever. The game's over.
Game's over. Knicks won as it should be. Landry Shamet both on offense and defense. 2 clutch threes in the end, and then 2 missed free throws, but we don't talk about those. But this team is showing its grit. It's showing its winning culture. Showing a team that is bound to win the NBA Finals this year.
Yeah, they'll beat the 16-1 Thunder, definitely.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I don't think anyone's beating that Thunder team.
They're insane. They're so good. It's scary. It's very, very scary. But I like the Thunder team. I don't like Shea, but I like the team outside of him.
What's wrong with Shea?
You don't like Shea as a player, or you don't like Shea as just
as a player?
I don't like Shea as a person. We've had a couple chats. He seems like the nicest guy.
Well, what I meant by that was you don't think he's that good.
He's an unethical hooper.
Or you don't like
so
the
is
way he
Jalen
plays.
Brunson. Jalen Brunson's literally Shea, bro.
Jalen Brunson's gotten way less calls than Shea has this year. Compared to past years, he's not getting as many calls anymore. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna beat around the bush and say Jalen Brunson doesn't foul bait, but he's getting less calls, and Shea is still getting the same old calls that he always gets.
I don't know. Here's what I'll say: is that for every champion of the sport, you're always finding reasons to say they make the game unfair. Like the Dodgers, they can't win because they spend too much money, right? The Eagles, they only win because they have the tush push, this illegal play.
Oh, no, I have no beef with the Eagles.
Yeah, no, I don't either, but I'm just saying this is what fans of teams do when they're upset. And, the Thunder, they might have developed this team, but they're only foul baiters.
They're a great,
they don't play the game the right way.
I think that they're a great team. I just think Shea's an unethical hooper, but I think they're a very good team, very well coached team. Big props to Mark Daigneault. I think he's a fantastic coach and built this team. And Shea's also lazy on defense, which is another conversation for another time. He stands flat footed.
They have enough players that it doesn't matter how he plays.
When you have
defense.
Jalen, we have J-Dub and Dort and
and they're gonna get the 3rd and 5th pick in this year's draft and get
Insane.
2 more defensive studs. I think the Thunder
and they took Isaiah Hartenstein, which I don't like, but that's another discussion.
Well, I'm happy for my boy Alex Caruso though. He's thriving.
He is thriving. He's loving that system, and he fits in that system perfectly.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic because he deserves the world. But going across the bridge, the Nets are an absolute dumpster fire. They're not a real team. They're literally playing street ball like they're in Rucker Park, like they're going to hoop with their boys. They play iso ball. They don't swing the rock. Michael Porter Jr. might be the funniest guy in all of basketball right now. From his podcast to how he plays. I saw a highlight on Instagram the other day where he took a bump fade 3 with 16 seconds left on the shot clock.
Wow, he's not even really a bump fade kind of guy either.
No.
That was a good reference. I'll be honest. That was a good reference. I'm gonna give myself props on that one. What even storylines are there with the Nets? They just tank and
3-12. They tank. They're gonna make another bad draft pick.
Yeah,
and
they have been for 20 years. So
I'm looking through this, and Michael Porter Jr. is averaging
Have any of the 15 guards that they drafted played well at all?
Yeah. Danny Wolf is nice.
Is he? Okay.
Danny Wolf's a good ball player.
Yeah, the last time I remember the Nets being fun to watch outside of the Harden, KD, Kyrie.
Not Danny Wolf. Igor Jamin, the other guy.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Also a BYU guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the D'Angelo Russell team was fun.
Yeah,
that was a
with
fun
Jared
Nets
Dudley.
Team.
That was a fun team.
And then they immediately sold all of that to go all in on the big 3 that didn't work out.
That failed after 3 months. And
all because of a little KD's big toe.
Right.
Which was heartbreaking. That was heartbreaking. Would have been nice to see that. See KD in the finals again. It's never gonna happen again.
I don't know. Rockets
look good. Yeah.
Rockets are pretty good.
But no one's beating the 16-1 Thunder.
Except for the Lakers.
Except for the Knicks.
Luka, LeBron, DeAndre Ayton.
No. And you could say that with a straight face?
No, I can't. They need to bring back AD. Mavs are looking to trade him. Trade the far for AD.
Word on the block is the Pistons want him.
That's Kendrick Perkins said that. But Kendrick Perkins has
no
sources.
No. Sham said it too.
Really?
Yeah.
I like Woj better.
Rest in peace, Woj.
Yeah, I miss him.
He's now coaching St. He's now general managing St.
Bonaventure. Yeah.
He got ejected the other day.
Is that a Fordham rival? Woj got ejected?
Woj got ejected the other day. I saw him cursing out a ref on Instagram and got thrown out.
Good. Get into it.
A GM getting ejected.
Get into it, Woj.
I love it. The Warriors don't look bad either. they just don't they don't look like they play together. And it's just
I don't know. I feel like the Warriors are kind of just like in a race against the clock, to be honest, to see how long they can.
they're expiring.
They're expiring.
It's getting ugly.
Yeah.
A little sleeper that I want to talk about is the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, well, here, let's do this. Well, as we're moving into more away from the Knicks and more into a general NBA segment, we'll throw it to break real quick. We'll let everyone listening catch their breaths, get their thoughts in order. Then we'll bring it back. We'll talk general NBA, and hopefully get some callers to maybe give us their takes, because we would love to hear what y'all have to
100%.
think. So
Please call in.
yeah, call in at 718-817-2750. We're going to throw it to break. When we bring it back, we'll go back to basketball and just more of our general NBA thoughts and storylines, and if anyone could actually potentially beat the Thunder. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
I'm Kurt Sipple, telling you to tune into One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Catch us live every Saturday on our WFUV Sports YouTube Live from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and later on 90.7 WFUV from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We break down the week's latest headlines with our collection of tri-state area beat reporters, along with interviews with your favorite athletes and media personalities. WFUV is your home to talk all things New York sports.
Welcome back from that quick break. We just wanted to give everyone just a quick second to collect our thoughts and regroup. We are going to head right back into some NBA basketball. And before we head to that break, George was going to say something, I believe, about the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing out of the Raptors. They have a good core with B.I., RJ, and Scotty Barnes, and they're looking really good for a team that a lot of people weren't expecting to be this good. They're getting a lot of good production from Mamu, who's another guy you weren't expecting to play as well. Colin Murray Boyles, a rookie's looking good. Grady Dick, he's been playing solid, not what you would expect. But this team is looking good. B.I.'s putting up 21. RJ's giving you his normal 20. Scotty Barnes giving 20 and 10, or 20 and 8, with 5 assists as well. And we can see a team that's really clicking and playing the way that they should play.
Yeah, I definitely agree, especially because when you looked at the Raptors in the preseason, they kind of went against all traditional current basketball norms in the sense that they're not really built around, scoring inside or hitting threes, but they're more built on the mid-range. But that hasn't really seemed to faze them, and they're playing well. And I don't know if they're going to make a run at the Eastern Conference, but they're 11-5, right? So they're at least going to be a top half seed if they keep playing well, and they could maybe take the Knicks to 5 games, but the Knicks are so good, nobody's gonna beat them.
Is that a little jab there?
That was a jab, yeah. It was pretty subtle, but you caught it, so nice work.
Thank you. Yeah, I think the interesting thing about hi Kurt has just raided our studio. He's stealing everything.
Kurt, we already violated your nets. Yeah.
Cat still doesn't have a place on your team.
Bye-bye.
Wow, that's I don't know if y'all could hear that, but Kurt Sipple just walked in and said Cat does not have a place on the Knicks. George, I don't know if you want to respond to that, or are you just going to ignore it?
No, I'll give him a little time of day. So Karl Anthony Towns is in a weird place with this team. He's a ball dominant player, but they're trying to fit into a team which doesn't fit the type of big that Cat is. This is why Mitchell Robinson's been playing so well, is because he fits it. Mike Brown's system is more old school, where he wants a big down low. He wants like a 4-out, 1-in. He doesn't want a 5-out offense that Cat thrives in, where he can have the ball and take a big man 1-on-1 and hit it and shoot a step back 3. He doesn't fit into the system, but I think with time he'll get more comfortable. I'm just being honest. He's putting up 21 a night. Come on. That's
and 13 rebounds. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
He's playing good basketball, just not in the system that works here. And I think that.
So are you kind of agreeing that he doesn't have a place in this system?
I don't think he doesn't have a place. I just think he needs to get comfortable. because it's a different system. Playing like it's just a different system than what it was with Tibbs. Tibbs, he was able to go. He was able to come off a ball screen, get a switch, and go.
I think it's also kind of an interesting take to say that the best shooting center in the history of basketball doesn't have a place in anyone's system. I think you can find a place for that in anybody's system.
We're getting a look from Carino.
Carino, I don't think likes the take about Karl Anthony Towns there.
Carino can't hear us. Carino can't.
Why is
hear
everyone
us.
looking at us in there?
Because they have something to look at while they do nothing.
Okay. All right, whatever. Ignore them.
Yeah, no, I also think with Karl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson is like what I was saying earlier is that like whatever situation the Knicks are in, they could kind of deploy each one of them to how the game necessitates, and that's what makes them so dangerous. Is that even though Karl Anthony Towns doesn't really fit the new system that Mike Brown has employed, he can still have the ability to change or take over a game if the situation dictates that. And yeah, I think that's kind of why this Knicks like center rotation of Towns and Robinson and whoever the other Gershon Yabusele is good because they all have guys who could do different things on the court for the team.
I think that the Knicks just need to keep relying on what they have going right now and use this system of spreading the floor.
Of course, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
110%, and it's working for everyone else on the team. Jalen Brunson, he doesn't have to do everything. He's averaging more assists than he was last year. Because he's being able to move the ball. He's able to penetrate and then dish. It's not penetrate, take that one-legged fade and rely on that.
Okay.
He doesn't, and this is what I think is just working so much better for the teams, that they're able to space the floor.
Here's what I will say about Brunson and the Knicks is in the playoffs, obviously the Knicks will face better teams, which are better defensive teams, right?
100%.
And so when I was at the Knicks Magic game, I'm a Lakers fan. I watch the Knicks game on a daily basis, but I was there, so I was locked into the game, right?
Yeah.
And I noticed that the Knicks weren't getting much going. They didn't know, and every single time they came up the floor, even if it was OG Anunoby or whoever their backup point guard is, or
Deuce McBride,
Deuce McBride, or Landry Shamet, or Mikal Bridges.
Someone who I actually
ball their hands. They always looked for Brunson to try to score.
I'll let him finish this point.
So is that going to happen in the playoffs when they start getting shut down? Are they going to become too Brunson reliant, or are they going to have other guys?
I disagree because by that time they'll be fully settled into this offense.
I mean, I get it's one game, but it was kind of a tendency throughout.
I understand the worry completely, but I think that throughout the year that everything's going to start clicking more and more and more.
Yeah.
And more.
What I wanted to say is someone I actually don't think has a place in this team is Jordan Clarkson, because you have a very, very guard-heavy rotation, along with guards who like to score in Deuce McBride and Jalen Brunson, and who are primary ball handlers. So where does Jordan Clarkson really fit into this team? I mean, he's a guy who scored 20 points a game off the bench for the last however many years, and obviously he's fine with being a bench player.
He hasn't been on a playoff caliber team.
Exactly, and I mean I just don't.
And I
don't know if I really see where he fits in, because I feel like you get.
That's more of a know your role thing.
He's kind of too ball dominant.
I feel like he is too ball dominant, especially because if you're running the first unit with Jalen Brunson and the second unit is being run by Deuce McBride, where does Jordan Clarkson just kind of become a spot up shooter? And then in that case, I feel like you get more out of guys like like Paco Mdadie.
So the lineups that they've been running have been,
or Landry Shamet as well.
Right.
But Landry Shamet is definitely not a ball dominant player.
No, but exactly that's what I'm saying.
So,
I don't think you need him to be a ball dominant player, and you don't want.
The lineup has been Jalen Brunson, Deuce McBride, Mikal Bridges, Cat, and Mitch. That's been the lineup, and they've been switching out Landry Shamet and Jordan Clarkson for Deuce McBride and Jalen Brunson. Those were the games where Clarkson's been putting up 20. It's because when he's put in that second unit, he's able to bring the ball up. He's able to
if he's allowed to be the
100%, and that was the rotation struggles that Mike Brown's been talking about. He's found that niche where he can use Clarkson. Recently, Clarkson's been very good. He 2 games ago he put up I think 22, and then put up 18 the other night. He's finding his role because He's being put in the right lineup where he's able to facilitate.
Yeah, I just think that like Jordan Clarkson is at his best. Like we saw it, like I don't know when he was with Utah last year or the year before. Like he was at his best there because the Jazz have players like Lauri Markkanen and Walker Kessler who need Jordan Clarkson to bring up the ball. But I guess if it can be utilized in the second unit, it works. But Brunson plays.
He was coming back for Colin Sexton, who would play 20 minutes a game because he was coming off of an injury.
Yeah, but Colin Sexton was awful, or he wasn't. He wasn't awful, but he wasn't the Colin Sexton of old when he was with Darius Garland in Cleveland, and they were like this vaunted backcourt duo. Now Jordan Clarkson is. Yeah, I don't think I kind of agree with the fact that Jordan Clarkson doesn't really fit because, he needs the ball too much.
I
also
think
feel like
you have
change.
other guards on the bench that would do a better job or would better fit into the role that you need Jordan Clarkson to fit
What are you going to say,
into.
Tyler Kolek? No.
Tyler Kolek, truther right here.
No.
No, I don't think it's Tyler Kolek, but I just don't.
But the problem is this is going to change when OG comes back.
That is true. So again, when OG comes back, what does Jordan Clarkson do? Because
Jordan Clarkson's going to be thrown into that unit with Deuce.
it's going to be Deuce again. So,
it's going to be Deuce, Shamet.
so again, you got Deuce and Shamet, who both.
Or
kind of,
no. They're actually going to start limiting Shamet's minutes. It's going to be Deuce and Clarkson.
Yeah, but again, like Deuce McBride is then the significantly dominant ball handler in that duo there, and so Jordan Clarkson thrives when he can basically be on the ball for
And play it like
18
street
seconds
ball,
of the shot clock.
where he can go and cook and
just be ISO and
Yep.
kind of do whatever he needs to. And I feel like Deuce McBride is, while not the same, he kind of can be similar. And while Deuce McBride can play as a spot up guy,
he's more of a swing the rock type of guy.
Yeah, but he's best with the ball in his hands as well. And so I feel like it's one or the other. And you definitely would rather have Deuce McBride because he's the better overall player.
He is.
Provides you more.
He fully
Jordan
is.
Clarkson
This is
does.
what makes the Knicks good, though, is that they have this option.
They have all these guys.
They
who
have
can do
this depth. Yeah, this is kind of what like you said, has limited them in years prior. Is that they've had, they haven't had maybe as strong of a second unit.
This is a good thing to struggle with.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have.
Oh no, which
we have too many players that we can
very
play,
good
yeah.
players.
Yeah, you'd rather have 11 rotation guys than 7.
110%.
So,
and that's where it becomes difficult. But I think they need to ship. I think it's time. Might be time to trade Tyler Kolek and another one of those bench pieces. Go get a backup.
what do you get Tyler Kolek for? Like
you get Tyler Kolek for
Kyle Korver, a copy machine? Nothing.
No,
you're not
I'm
getting
just
anything
saying,
for Tyler.
I'm just saying
Kolek.
The corpse of Chris Paul.
Yeah, the corpse of Chris Paul.
No, I'm saying you can ship him and another piece. You can package Hook Porty in there too.
Bro, this is NBA 2K. You can't just trade these guys for picks or
you
rotational players.
You can trade him for a.
Okay, what's your package that you're thinking of right here?
Hypothetically, you can trade him for a worse version of Nick Claxton and get a backup 4.
What is a worse
what's
version
the
of
worst
Nick?
version?
Like bring back Precious Achua. Go trade Kolek or Hook Porty or both of them for Achua and a pick.
I don't think that's enough.
Yeah, that's so close.
What do you
to
have?
enough.
Wow, 2 guys with bright futures.
I mean, you very much just said that Tyler Kolek does not have a bright
He doesn't have a
future.
bright future.
Here, because there's too many there. We have 14 guards on the roster.
But he's not good. He's not a good player.
He is
just
a
gives
good
around
player.
'cause the
He's
I think he's
fans
a good
love
player.
him.
I do think he's a good player.
He can't develop because he can't get minutes.
I think you should trade Pacom Dadier.
Dottie is garbage.
Yeah.
I worked in Westchester when Dottie was playing every
I think
day.
He's okay. I mean, he's like a 6'8" guy. He can handle the
He
ball.
thinks he's Michael Jordan.
I mean, he can handle the ball. He can shoot a little bit. I don't know.
Thinks he's Michael Jordan. He has too much confidence.
Yeah, I mean, he was also playing in the G League. He's not a G League player.
Yeah.
No, but he's also not an NBA player. He's in the same place Mac McClung is, where
Oh, okay,
where
that's
in between.
insane. Mac McClung is not in between. Mac McClung is fully a G League player.
How he put up 40? He's putting up 35 a
There's
night.
plenty
there.
of guys
Yeah,
putting up
anybody
35
can
a
do
night.
that,
And they
yeah.
should, and they don't belong there. But they also don't belong in the NBA. They belong. There's like their middle ground.
I mean, Pacom Dadier is
D1 basketball is
Pacom-
so much better than G League basketball.
Pacom Dadier is a significantly better basketball player than Mac McClung is. Significantly better.
But they're both in the same place where they're on the in between.
I don't think they're anywhere close to the same place. Pacom Dadier would be arguably
My father just
rotational.
texted me and said, "Let's package Hook Porty and Tyler Kolek for Dante DiVincenzo." There's no world that that's enough.
Yeah, no, it's even close.
There's no.
I don't know if that. I don't know.
We
if
have
that
no more
even-
picks to sell.
I don't think that really fixes anything either. That just gets you
Yeah,
another.
where
guard.
would Dante
no.
DiVincenzo fit? He's not that much different than Jordan Clarkson. And
And he has-
I think
He-
Jordan
he's
Clarkson is
definitely-
way better than Dante DiVincenzo.
Well, Dante DiVincenzo is a
in
better
terms of what they do
defender.
on the offensive side of the ball, what?
Dante DiVincenzo's off ball. Jordan Clarkson's on ball. And
I don't think
and
they. I don't think
facilitates
they're,
more.
they're definitely not the same player in any way, shape, or form. But
Yeah,
Dante
but in
DiVincenzo
terms of the way that the Knicks would utilize them, they would be the same thing.
Well,
that's-
the way the Knicks would utilize DiVincenzo is the same way they utilize Deuce McBride right now.
exactly.
And then
Okay.
I still
But
for
Deuce
Deuce
McBride
McBride.
is great.
I
You
prefer
don't need
Deuce
to
McBride
replace
way
him.
more over Dante DiVincenzo.
Yeah.
Deuce McBride just an overall better player. And I think that the problem is they have too many guys and they need a big man. They need a backup big man. Because I don't want Mohamed Diarra or Tosan Abdulman playing minutes for the Knicks.
I don't know. Mo Diawara is decent. I just
right. I want Hook Porty over Diawara.
definitely. I do think you lack a lot of, or the Knicks in general just lack a lot of bigs. They just don't have many bigs, and they don't have a lot of big minutes.
And they don't have.
It's helped out by Cat being able to play a lot, but-
They have bigs. They don't have size, if you know what I mean by that.
And also, if Mitchell Robinson goes down with an injury, God forbid, you're really looking.
And that's why they're playing him like they're
You're
giving
looking
him
at
the
big.
Embiid treatment in New York.
Yeah, he's playing like 23 minutes a game
Like
or
20
something.
minutes a game. He's played 8 games this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but God forbid he goes down. Like you are very thin at the center and even at the 4.
And then Yabusele's small.
Yeah, he's what? I think he's 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah.
He's
6'7".
Yeah,
6'7".
and 300 pounds.
Beast of a human being.
He's a meatball. He's awesome. But again,
watching him warm up, I was
he's like
working the game a couple nights ago, and watching him warm up is the funniest thing of all time. Because his jumper takes so long to load, and he'll
To load.
no, because he'll go up and he'll it's like a hesitation in midair. He's a funny guy.
It's like the Lonzo jumper. Before
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Yeah, we should talk about Chris Paul.
Yeah, let's
retiring.
we'll throw it over to
I'm
Chris
down.
Paul
Huge
real quick.
news.
You're an LA guy,
I'm
so
an LA guy.
I mean,
Yeah,
granted you're a
obvious-
Lakers guy, not a Clippers guy, but talk a little bit about what Chris Paul, I guess, maybe your memories of Chris Paul, what he meant to you, what he meant to the league in general.
Yeah, but obviously Chris Paul is, one of the members of the trade, the infamous trade that was vetoed. But I think Chris Paul had so much more to offer the NBA in his time there. He had that great series against the Spurs, I remember, in 2014 or whatever, where he hit that. Maybe it wasn't 2014, somewhere around there, where he hit that great game winner over Tim Duncan and Danny Green at the final. He's one of the members of the Banana Boat. And, I think Chris Paul also, inspired so many people. Like, an era of Steph Curry's, before and during Steph Curry, everyone is thinking of, there are players who still want to be like Chris Paul, which is great for the game.
He was the
Well, let's not talk about him like
truest
he's
point
gone.
guard.
He's
No.
still here. He's still playing.
in his prime, he was one of the truest that a point guard could get.
I mean, he's potentially I think definitely a top 5 point guard to ever play the game of basketball.
Yeah.
Potentially
Oh, yeah.
a top 3
Oh,
point
yeah.
guard to ever play the game of basketball. I mean, what he did, early in his career, before he even got to the Clippers, with New Orleans,
Right.
was, I mean, he was arguably a top 3 player in the game of basketball at the time, top 3 player in the league. Then he went to the Clippers, and I mean,
That
was-
Lob City era.
Lob
was
City
like
was
the
probably
that's
the-
one of the
Lob City
most
was one
fun
of the most
eras of
electric
basketball for
basketball.
anything.
I mean,
yeah.
he turned DeAndre Jordan into a legitimate all NBA caliber center. Just
And he
because of
unlocked
how
Blake
good he
Griffin's full
was.
potential.
he allowed
Yeah.
Blake Griffin to be probably the most exciting player in basketball, behind LeBron James. He was incredible. And then even when he went to the Rockets, he was pretty good with James Harden. They had a good little
Got that good run against the Curry.
yeah.
No,
I
that
mean,
was-
if he
that,
doesn't
that
go
was the year when they
down-
missed the 30.
They missed
38
30
straight threes. or
They shot
whatever,
like 1 of 38. They missed 30 straight threes. If he doesn't go down with, I think it was a hamstring issue.
Yeah, game 6. I think
It's
you got hurt,
I think
yeah.
we're potentially looking at a very different. The way we talk about the
Outcome,
Warriors is
yeah.
very
Yeah.
different.
Because they were probably going to lose that series, the Warriors.
Yeah, no,
They were down
it very much.
3-2.
They were also losing that game when Chris
Paul
Paul
got
went
hurt,
down.
yeah.
So very much could be looking at a very different way that we talk about that Warriors team of the mid 2010s, and I mean I guess it's what 2 rings versus 3 or 3 rings. I don't know how many.
Or
they
maybe
ended up
Chris Paul
getting,
would get his ring.
Chris Paul has his ring. That's the one thing that a lot of people talk about is that Chris Paul never got his ring.
Yeah, I really hope that the Clippers trade him this year to a team.
I think
so
they
he can
should
win a
now. Just
ring.
let him go sit on the end of the bench somewhere
Yeah,
and get a ring.
Get him a ring.
Yeah, go send him to the Knicks.
Especially because he's wasted the last 4 years of his career and just doing absolutely nothing.
Whatever.
He was
He was in Phoenix?
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
He was on the Wizards for a bit, I think.
in Phoenix.
Yeah, but then after that,
They were never going to win that
the
series.
Phoenix,
The
KD and Chris
Spurs.
Paul just wasted the last. What were they there for? 3 years, 2 years, 3 years of their career.
He had that 1 year with the Thunder.
He
Oh,
did.
yeah.
He was all right that year.
That was a fun year when it was Chris Paul and Shea in the backcourt. That
It was Chris
fun.
Paul, Shea, and then it was Carmelo Anthony.
Oh yeah, Carmelo was on that.
Carmelo
team.
was on that team, and there was another person.
That
Rockets
was,
legend
That was
Carmelo
2020
Anthony.
year, I think, right?
That was
No,
that was a weird year where
2019-20.
where
yeah.
Carmelo got I think
Lakers
traded to the Rockets and then
No,
traded to the Hawks and immediately got cut by the Hawks.
Carmelo was on
and then
Lakers
the
in
Blazers
21.
And then he
the
was on the
Lakers.
Blazers. Yeah, he was all
Lakers
over the
in
place.
21, yeah.
The last 18 months of his career, Carmelo Anthony I think was on 7 teams, 8 teams.
He was just there for the vibes.
Yeah.
He was just living his life. And then he went to the Warriors. Chris Paul went to the Warriors.
Oh yeah.
The Spurs. He threw Wemby lobs for.
He
about
was
10
on the
minutes.
Spurs. What 2 years?
Last year.
Last year he was on the
Last
Spurs
year.
last year.
He threw Wemby lobs before Wemby went down, and then and now he's back home and he's done on his
Yeah.
farewell tour.
Dude, the Clippers are so.
I'm glad. I'm
Ruined,
so
bro.
happy he went back to the Clippers for that 1 extra year or for this last year.
It means a lot.
Yeah, I think it was a great
Yeah.
decision.
Right.
Especially
Next thing you know, he's gonna go to
especially
New
what
Orleans.
first. This is the first season of that new Clippers arena, right?
No, it's been
Or
there for
second season.
3 years now, at least. I think. No.
No,
What about
it's-
the new fan
I think-
section where it's
No, that's been there for 3 years. It's just they keep advertising it endlessly. But the Clippers are just not. I don't know. They've got Bradley Beal, who's now out for the year. They've got Chris Paul, who's now retiring. They've got Kawhi Leonard, who's finally returning after a 10-game absence.
That is such an old team.
It's so old.
What,
It's so
James
old,
Harden,
yeah.
Chris Paul, Bradley
this
Beal,
team
and
would
Kawhi Leonard.
would win a title in
2018.
2018.
Oh
my
goodness,
god.
Yeah.
2018, they might score 300 points a game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I miss when Bradley Beal was good at basketball.
Yeah, I mean
He's
he
making
was,
50.
he was scoring 33 points a game and didn't make All-Star games because of how bad that team was.
Yeah. Speaking of fun eras, that John Wall, Bradley Beal, and Marcin Gortat era in Washington, that was fun. Marcin
I was
Gortat.
watching a
Speaking
TikTok
of
edit
other
the
people who got
day.
made to look like they were good basketball players, was
Marc-
John Wall and Marcin Gortat. John Wall made that guy so much money.
I watched an edit the other day of just Marcin Gortat's screens, and it was one of the most exciting things I've ever laid my eyes on.
He was
I believe
that was
it. I believe it.
he was insane at that, and also just throwing down lobs from John Wall.
Yeah, John Wall in his prime, it was a different beast. I
If you're an unathletic big man, I think the 2 players you would ever want to play for or play with are Chris Paul and John Wall because you know they're gonna make you look good. All you got to do is set a couple screens and throw down some lobs,
Yeah.
and you're gonna make $15 million a
I
year.
put Willie Cauley-Stein in an immaculate grid the other day, and I felt so accomplished with my life. I don't know. I just wanted to add that tidbit.
Former King. Where else? did he
Maverick?
play?
Nets legend.
Played
Willie
for the
Cauley-Stein.
Mavs, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting guy. He was supposed to be like the second coming. He was drafted high up.
I think he was the number 3 or number 5 overall pick.
Yeah, he had one good year.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Kings. Kings had a good year.
6th overall pick in 2015.
6th overall pick. Okay, so I was wrong.
That was a Carly
Yeah.
Towns draft.
Doesn't happen
Fun.
often.
He's playing in China now. Or I don't even know if he's playing in China now.
I mean, he's probably scoring
Last played in
80 points a
China.
game in China. Those are always my favorite stories when washed up basketball players go to China. or go
Stephon
to-
Marbury has a
Yeah.
statue there.
Yeah.
He's like
Jimmer was averaging
Jesus.
40.
Jimmer,
Jimmer Fredette averaged
Jimmer.
40 points a game in China.
gold medalist,
Yeah.
Olympic gold medalist. Jimmer Fredette. He won the 3-on-3
The 3-on-3.
Olympics,
Yeah.
like FIBA World something.
I do wish that you know how Major League Baseball players who don't play well, they go to Japan or whatever, they play there for 2 years, they come back and then their careers are completely remade.
Eric
I-
Thames.
Yeah, I do wish that kind of
Eric
happened in the
Thames,
NBA.
Eric
It
Thames,
doesn't
yeah.
really happen.
Eric Thames had a
Yeah.
really good MLB The Show card in like 20.
Because he had a really good year that first year back with the Brewers after he came back from Korea. And then I think he got popped for PEDs. But, you know, that happens. Things happen.
Yeah.
Just
like a gambling scheme.
As long as you're fun to watch a little bit, then, yeah, who cares? Gambling. Ooh.
That's a sore topic.
Shout out Luis Ortiz and Emmanuel Clase.
Shout out Chauncey Billups.
And Chauncey Billups. Yes, that is.
Gambling has ruined the sport.
I wonder what Griffin thinks about Chauncey Billups.
Oh, let's ask the class.
Griffin, I don't know if he's paying attention, but let's ask the class.
We're gonna get a no comment.
You're like it. The interim's doing well, no?
Yeah, he's fine.
He's fine.
I played. I think I said this on the show already. I played rec league with Chauncey, like basketball men's league at my athletic club with Chauncey Billups as lawyer.
With his lawyer?
Really?
Practices law, anything like he plays basketball. That dude's getting life.
That dude's getting life. That's I like that. Yeah.
That's a crazy straight for Chauncey's lawyer.
It is.
But I asked one of my buddies about this, and he was very quick to be like, I don't like this, and he shut it down immediately. Very unhappy, but kind of a blessing in disguise because Chauncey's a very mediocre coach. Knicks legend Chauncey Billups is a mediocre coach.
Yeah.
He was actually just at Knicks Alumni Day a couple months ago before he went down, and we had to take down all photos of him that we had.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I wonder what that's like.
I think it was a couple years ago when he was. When the Pistons fired their GM in like 2018, I think they like interviewed him to be their GM as well, which was a weird thing.
They treated him like
he
a
was on
basketball
TV.
mastermind.
Yeah,
and I don't think he's that.
No, it's because he like carried those Pistons teams back in the 90s. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of agree with the fact that gambling is kind of ruined the
year I was
sports.
born was the year the Pistons won that chip when Chauncey became Mr. Big Shot.
When was that?
05.
05.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember my dad showing me highlights, and he was like, Chauncey Billups was good. Then came to the Knicks, and it was horrible. I was like,
yeah.
Very, very heartbreaking story with him, especially with the culture surrounding basketball now. But it is what it is, and it's the life we live. That's all I could say at that point.
it is. Yeah. Well, you know, shout out Chris Paul, great career. The Knicks are obviously going to win the NBA title, I guess, according to George.
Yep. Yeah, buddy.
And Purdue is going to walk to a national title in college.
Yep.
That's what we've established in our basketball segments here. We're going to go away from basketball though. We're gonna head to a quick break, and on the other side we're gonna head back to football. We're gonna talk the NFL. We're gonna talk about what the Jets are doing wrong. Maybe if there's a glimmer of hope in there.
There's nothing good there.
And then after that we'll head over to the Giants, where there is a glimmer of hope, but still they're not very good. And then that'll probably wrap up our show.
The only good thing about the Giants is Cam Scadaboo's Twitch streams.
Yeah. We got to talk about Thanksgiving, though. I'm so excited for Thanksgiving slate.
We will definitely talk about that a little bit as well. But we're going to head to break, and then we're going to talk about the Jets on the other side.
You're listening to WFUV, New York.
Welcome back into our studio here at WFUV on Fordham's Rose Hill campus. It's been a great show so far. We've talked college basketball, college football. We talked the NBA for a while. And now we're going to move over to the NFL, and we're going to talk about the Jets. Unfortunately, we do have to talk about them. I think we'd all rather just forget this season happened. but we are going to talk about them. It's been an up and down season for them. They've had some good, some bad.
Mostly bad.
Mostly bad. Not a whole lot of good, to be completely honest. Justin
they
Fields,
had a couple weeks there where I thought they were going to start making.
They
a
did.
run.
They won 2 in a row, and then they got
and then
slapped
Drake
around by
made.
the Patriots. And then they play the Ravens this week, who have not had a great season. So maybe they get back in the win column.
And then they have the Falcons. So
And
Go
then
Jets. Need the Jets to win that game.
I feel like they won't win either of those games.
No,
but
probably not. They may never win again.
very possible. I think this is starting to look like a thing where a lot of people were back and forth on Robert Saleh. I'm starting to think it's starting to look like it might not have been a Robert Saleh thing. Could have been a Robert Saleh thing.
I hope they give Aaron Glenn another year. I really do.
I like him.
He's a good coach.
I think he's a good coach. They're also just injured as well, which doesn't help. Garrett Wilson is on the IR, and they're just cooked there. Will McDonald's out, questionable, so they're also a hurt team. So I don't see a lot, and they need to stop giving Justin Fields a chance.
Well,
Thank God that
he's gone.
He's done probably for the year.
Did you see that
Tyrod Taylor
reporter
starting.
that asked him a question? It's like, "What's your opinion on being benched?" He was like, "That's life. It happens." It was very, very funny post-game clip or tweet.
I also don't think Tyrod Taylor is the truth either, but
Well, nobody they have is the truth.
they need a real quarterback.
Well, haven't they needed a real quarterback for like 8
No, they tried
years?
to get Aaron Rodgers, and they thought that was real, and then that was also a dumpster fire.
Oh.
And Aaron Rodgers' career is essentially over now, so
Yeah, it is. It's over.
he needs to hang it up. He needs to get off the ayahuasca and just understand and hang it up.
Yeah.
What about your opinions there, Barrett?
I think that on Aaron Rodgers or on the Jets?
On the Jets.
Okay. Because I do have some opinions on Aaron Rodgers that I won't give. But on the Jets, I think that their biggest issue is just, I mean, you got to get a quarterback. I don't know how you got to get a quarterback. And if you don't get one in this year's draft, I guess you always have next year. But how long are Jets
This isn't a
fans-
good quarterback class.
That's not true.
No, it is not a good quarterback.
That's not true.
They have decent quarterbacks, but nobody's gonna be a franchise quarterback.
Ty
for this
Simpson is going to be a
quarterback
franchise quarterback. Just that's he just is. Fernando Mendoza might be okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not a great quarterback class, but there are definitely some quarterbacks in there that are definitely worth taking early in the draft. I'm excited for this draft because I think we'll finally, hopefully, see some smart GMs that don't force quarterback draft picks and maybe just wait. Because as you can see, with the Giants, at least you can get good quarterbacks later in the draft. Not late necessarily, but I mean, Jackson Dart was in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
But the Jets, they have so many issues.
They need a complete when was the last time they had an organizational overhaul and basically just like fired everybody and their mother?
Probably pretty recently.
They tried it, but then
one.
it failed miserably.
Well, they need to do it again. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, what do you even look forward to if you're a Jets fan each week? Like, there's not even any
losing by not that much, I guess. Watching Breece Hall, who is also maybe I don't.
Who should have been traded?
He needs to go.
Yeah, I should have traded.
He
him.
wanted to go.
Yeah, I mean they
and so did Garrett. They all wanted to go. No one wants to be here.
Yeah, I mean holding on to Garrett Wilson was. I mean, I guess hopefully when you eventually draft a quarterback, you have a target for him, but I don't know. I expected more out of maybe some of the rookies, like a guy like Arian Smith. I thought was maybe going to be a little bit better.
It's just,
I don't know, man.
The Jets have nothing going for them. That's the problem. They have no idea what to do, and their front office is a dumpster fire in and of itself. They need to draft a quarterback, and they need to do it now. Like, it's either this year or next year. Or
but the issue is, like, I don't think that they have enough talent around the quarterback for that quarterback to even be like. I think the worst thing you can do is not have a quarterback. The second worst thing you can do is force a young quarterback into a team without anything else around him. And
how you have Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall?
Oh well, like I mean.
I don't think Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall are really even that good.
I would like Garrett Wilson is a good receiver.
He's not a great receiver. I don't think he's
not
a
a great
one.
receiver.
He's not a one in my opinion.
And I think
he's like a
What, do you see him as
mid-level
like a
two.
T. Higgins type?
yes. So I
think T. Higgins is better than Garrett Wilson.
I do as well. But we actually had this talk on a one-on-one over the summer. I think in August. And it's just like Garrett Wilson is a good receiver. He's not great. We had the debate between T. Higgins and Garrett Wilson. I personally do think
I see them as
that T. Higgins
comparable.
Is better.
They're probably comparable.
But
I would
again,
take
like
T. Higgins like 7 out of 10 times.
And Breece Hall is a good running back. There's nothing I think that gets in the way of Breece Hall being a good running back. It just the rest of the team, the talent isn't there. You obviously just traded away your two defensive superstars, and again, I really hope that this Jets team, this front office, doesn't waste a first round pick trying to force a quarterback to be there. And if they could just wait later and get a decent quarterback, and because there are so many holes on this team that wasting or kind of forcing a quarterback into your first round selection, if there's not a quarterback that you think is necessarily worth that first round selection,
I don't think this draft has that for the Jets.
Yeah, I agree. I think you should build up your scaffolding first, and then you insert the quarterback into the equation. I think that's the best way they can do it. But I don't know. The Jets might just be hopeless.
Should go pick up Davis Mills.
Davis Mills, he might be the answer. Definitely.
Money Mills
could be. You a Texans fan?
I'm not. I'm a Saints fan. So yeah, it's
Spencer Rattler is the truth.
God, no, he's not. Ty Simpson, future Saint. That's all that matters. We're holding out for Ty Simpson.
But the Jets are brutal. They need to get Breece Hall needs to get out. He needs to get out while he still can. While he has the ability to, he needs to go.
Yeah, I feel like Josh Allen would be the perfect quarterback for the Jets.
Josh Allen would be the perfect quarterback for every team in the league. I mean, come on.
I think he fits the
Not
Jets
the Colts.
great.
Not Daniel Jones's Colts.
Daniel Jones. He would be the perfect quarterback for the Jets. Or the
yeah,
Giants,
he's the best quarterback in the league. Yeah, he'd be the best quarterback for every team. Except for like the Ravens and the Chiefs.
But Josh Allen's like gunslinging style would work really well for the Jets, who need to be more aggressive. Like, I don't think the Rams would be better with Josh Allen. I don't think
the Cowboys would be either.
I don't think the Cowboys. Dak Prescott. Is the Cowboys that much better with Josh Allen? Probably not. Right? Yeah.
No, they're not.
They're not that much better.
Not. But George Pickens is putting together a nice season for the Cowboys. I'm a Cowboys fan.
I mean, he's on pace for like 1,500 yards or something like that.
He's the truth.
Is that Chiefs Cowboys game on Thanksgiving going to be the most watched game until the playoffs? It has to. Right?
No, maybe the Ravens Bills game.
No, it's
Thanksgiving
weeks ago. Day.
Thanksgiving Day.
Whose
you're
TV
right.
isn't going to be turned to Chiefs Cowboys? Like the two biggest fan bases in sports. Like, well, maybe not the Chiefs, but
no, but the Cowboys
are
probably the biggest fan base in American sports. So
yeah, who's not going to be watching that game?
Knicks, but we'll see that. I'm excited for that game. I'm a Cowboys fan, and I'm excited to see the Cowboys defense is gonna be ripped apart, but the secondary is gonna be ripped apart. But yeah, I'm also the biggest Patrick Mahomes hater on the planet.
Why?
I just can't stand him. I just can't. He just bothers me. Him and his Kermit looking head.
Here we go. Here we go. Nah, that's my Patrick Mahomes impression. It's not great.
And then you're the Dak Prescott. Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, this never works, man.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Give us a hard count there, Barrett.
I'm good. I won't be doing that. But yeah, I mean, for the Jets, I think the best case scenario is you continue to lose. And honestly, if you want to do that, probably starting Justin Fields would have been your best situation. Tyrod Taylor is one of the better backups in the league. So maybe you potentially win a couple games there, which would be not an ideal situation for the Jets. But you got to find something. I think you got to find something from some of these young guys and hope these rookies play well, because that's really your only bright spot.
You got to give Arian Smith more touches.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Arian Smith needs to play more. You got to see if you can get something out of A.D. Mitchell, because while the guy can't catch, he absolutely blazes.
Right.
And you obviously just picked him up in the Sauce Gardner trade. You got to hope that some of these young receivers can be something.
I love how they didn't ship the offense, but they shipped the defense at the deadline.
And there wasn't really much on the offense to ship.
There was Breece, yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
And you can get something nice for Breece. You can get what, a
fourth round
Yeah,
pick probably.
probably.
I don't. There aren't
Probably
many. There aren't many running backs in the league where you can get a third round pick for him. There just aren't. You probably get a fourth for him. Like, you maybe get a second for Jonathan Taylor. That's just kind of the state of running backs in the NFL right now, is that they're a dime a dozen, and while Breece Hall has
everyone go for 100 yards, 30 yards a game.
Yeah.
Like it's just like you have Jonathan Taylor, you have Jesus.
I mean, you got guys like Kyle Monaghan and Woody Marks playing well. You got
Who's the dude?
You got Kamani Vidal playing
Who?
well.
What team does he play for?
The Lions.
Jameer Gibbs?
Jameer Gibbs, yeah, like completely blanked on him. Jameer Gibbs.
Yeah, I think Jameer Gibbs is really overrated.
I think Devon Achan's overrated. Jesus, don't even start on Devon Achan. I think he's insanely overrated.
Yeah, I mean at this point, yeah. Who else? Even in McCaffrey's career, you're probably not going to get much for him with the contract. And
there really are not very many receivers that you'd get more than a third round, or running backs that you get more than a fourth round pick for. Yeah. Breece Hall would potentially be one of them. I don't know, but
it's the Jets are cooked. The Jets
are cooked, but they're really again like the point of that was to say that there just wasn't that much on the offense to ship out. There's not much on the team outside of Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams that was there to ship out anyways, like still. So, and if there was, you wouldn't be in the situation where you're 2-9. It's just not a good team. It was never going to be a good team. The first week of Justin Fields, you thought, hey, maybe this team could be decent. But it just was never going to happen. They just had not
looked
been
good that first week.
They did, but and that's why I think I was on one-on-one after the first week, and whoever I was on here with could have sworn that they were going to be a good team, thought they were going to win 10 games. I thought that was an outrageous take, and I stand by it. Before the season, I said this was a 4-win team.
They're
going to
lose 10 games.
Yeah, well, they're going to lose a lot more than
12,
that. Before the season, I said this was a 4-win team at best, and I feel like that's looking like a pretty good prediction right now.
Dialed
yeah. I said the Giants are going to be a 5-win team at best. That looks like a bad prediction because I don't know where the other wins come from for this team.
No. I think it might be time to pivot there.
Yeah, okay. Well,
the Giants are a whole other can of worms.
Because we have kind of hit on everything that there is to talk about on the Jets, so we'll send it to break.
Not a lot.
Not a lot of good things anyway.
So we'll send this to break, and when we come back, we'll talk about Jackson Dart and the Giants.
Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Carino.
And I'm Joe Henry.
Tune in weekly for NFL Friday, your exclusive WFUV sports podcast for all things National Football League.
We'll be covering everything on and off the gridiron for the biggest sports league in the world every week on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcast.
Can the Eagles repeat?
Will the Jets or Giants finally take a leap?
What's Shadur up to?
All of that and more on NFL Friday on WFUV Sports.
Want to be part of the Ramley? It all starts here. I'm Nathan Rogers.
And I'm Kate Cox, and we are two of your hosts for On the Hill, WFUV's exclusive podcast for all things Fordham Athletics.
From the field of Moglia Stadium to the hardwood of the historic Rose Hill Gym, we've got you covered with the ins and outs of Fordham sports.
Every week, every play, every round. Tune in weekly wherever you get your podcasts. This is On the Hill.
And we are back here, ready to talk about the Giants. I said no one really wanted to talk about the Jets. I think less people want to talk about the Giants now. 2-9 on the season. Jackson Dart came in. There was a lot of hype and a lot of energy around this Giants team after Jackson Dart took over. Scatterboo ended up getting injured. I think there was definitely some hope when Scatterboo and Dart were fully cooking that, hey, this Giants team maybe could turn it around. They haven't.
And he was hitting Neighbors that first week. He was finding him.
Yeah.
Dart.
Yeah.
I think
it looked good.
That first week Dart played, Neighbors had a lot of yards.
No, the first week Dart played, Neighbors went down.
Yeah.
Well,
and like
he was cooking though.
He threw a passing touchdown and then he went down. He was finding him though. Like there were small gains.
Yeah.
But he was finding him. And that's something that Russ Wilson was struggling with, was throwing the ball. Period.
Right.
Except for that one game where he weirdly had 400 yards
against the Cowboys, yeah. But it looked good, and then it all just completely
didn't.
Yeah, it was a mess. But now Dart's out. I think one more week, right?
One more week. I
this
believe.
is the last week.
One more week. Scat's done for the year. Neighbors is out for the year, maybe more. And we just have to be patient on that.
Yeah, you got the Lions tomorrow,
they're gonna lose by 70,
and then the Patriots. So there's another loss.
That's 80.
And then
Drake May against Jackson Dart, though. That's a fun.
And then
match.
you play the
Drake
Commanders.
May is the MVP.
And then there's the Commanders.
Matthew Stafford.
Potentially. That could be a win there for the Giants against the Commanders.
Do they want it though?
They don't want the win.
Then you play the Vikings. That's definitely a loss. Then you play the Raiders. Could win that one maybe. Then you play the Cowboys. So that's a loss. So you got maybe 2 more wins on the schedule, which I guess is good. But again, same thing I said with the Jets. How many years can you suck before just things spiral out of control?
Yeah, I don't know. At least the Giants have the Super Bowls to lean back on, though.
And the Giants don't have a horrid defense.
They don't.
Yeah.
Their secondary is disgusting, though.
Yeah, I don't know. This Giants team is definitely more talented than the Jets team, and there's definitely less holes to fill, which gives you a lot of hope if you do end up with a top pick. Because there's definitely some talent.
If you wind up with a top pick, who are you drafting? What are you drafting?
I mean, I think you just take Caleb Downs and forget about it. You take the best player in the country.
Yeah.
Take the best player in the country. Caleb Downs is elite. You have a secondary that could definitely use some sort of fix. You don't need a quarterback. You don't need a running back. You don't necessarily need an offensive line. The offensive line's been decent.
Been all right. It's been good enough.
Yeah.
You don't need a defensive line really. Well, you might, because Abdul Carter, there hasn't shown a whole lot. He hasn't been great.
His time to pressure has been insane.
Yeah, the end product.
And Brian
needs to be
Burns
there.
is really friggin' good.
Brian Burns is elite.
Dexter Lawrence is Dexter Lawrence.
You got Dex. Dex is incredible. Dex is the best defensive lineman in the league, probably.
Yeah, I just think with the Giants, there's not one player you draft that solves all the issues. You kind of have to keep building. So I kind of do agree that you go BPA and you just work from there. If they end up getting a top pick, but
they're probably going to get a top 5 pick.
Knowing the Giants, they'll win 4 more games and get
the
12th pick or something like that.
They're gonna.
Yeah, they do
that.
find a way to screw
They'll
themselves
find a way to
out
do
of
something
good
bad,
things
yeah.
happening.
I'm sure. I don't know. I think the Giants could have a good future. I think firing Dable was a mistake.
You do?
Yeah.
Why do you think that? I know he had the relationship with Dart, and that was good. Same with Scatterboo, but okay. So what I will say is it could potentially be a mistake because I don't love firing the head coach halfway through a rookie's season,
especially with injuries too.
Yeah, you want to keep the rookie as comfortable as possible, but if it allows yeah, I do understand from the development aspect, but Dable really wasn't taking this team anywhere.
Yeah,
he wasn't really developing well. That was the thing.
I don't know how you can say that because Jackson Dart came out and he really lit the world on fire.
Other than Dart,
but that's all that matters. If you can develop a quarterback, that's all that really matters. No,
but Daniel Jones. And technically, did he develop him? Because he's really good in Indianapolis. So
I don't know.
That's the thing.
I don't know. So the thing with Dable is that
And also the GM screwed up that whole thing with Daniel Jones. And Saquon
but
Right.
Dable came in and he won Coach of the Year his first year, and then every year since the team's been tragically bad, like just terrible.
But injuries also played a part of that as well.
But injuries can only play a part so many times, right?
Fair enough.
It can't always be injuries.
I see both sides, but I think if you gave him one more year with Dart, it could have been really good.
Well, I don't. That's the thing. That's the thing about the NFL, though. That
And also, how long could Dart stay on the field without getting hurt again?
the thing about the NFL is that it's always one more year. Like it's different because you could be a terrible team, and then next year you could be like, oh, we have Super Bowl aspirations.
Look what happened with the Chargers.
Yeah, or like, well, the Chargers' offensive line gets hurt every year. But the thing is, like that year the Jets had Aaron Rodgers. Like before the season, everyone's like, yeah, I think the Jets, maybe they're not Super Bowl favorites, but they're definitely contenders. And it just happens every year that it blows up. So eventually you have to make wholesale change, and that's what I think the Dable thing really was. Yeah, eventually you have to do something, right?
I see it. I go back and forth on it because I'm not fully sold on giving up that relationship that he had with Dart and Scat. Because Scat's going to be good as long as he can stay healthy, which is the $1 million question.
The only thing I'll say about relationships, though, is that like all you see is what you see from the outside. Like
you never know what happens behind
do you
closed
really
doors.
know?
No, never.
Do you really know like relationships? That's what I don't like about people saying, oh, this coach needs to be harder on his team in the press conference. But like people don't know anything.
It's a press conference.
People don't know anything.
People put on
about
faces.
Yeah, people don't know anything.
Like look, Jordan out in public was oh, this fantastic guy, blah blah blah. But then inside of practice, he was the biggest
right
critic.
The example that I think of most recently, because I'm a baseball guy, is that Mike Schilt, for the Padres manager, in all of his press conferences, he would, he wouldn't say a bad word about his players, but it comes out that he's fired, and why? Because he was too hard on his coaching staff and he berated them. So you don't really know about relationships or any of this stuff because, as much as you want to say sports is a business and it's about winning, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. And they had to fire Dable because they didn't win.
I mean, the Dable firing, it's been an up and down season for the Giants. I do think there's a lot more hope for this team than there is for the Jets. Both of them are two of the worst teams in the NFL, though. They'll both, hopefully, potentially have pretty high draft picks. So that is something at least to look forward to. We're going to send it to break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk more of just the general standings and storylines in the NFL, what's going on there. And then we have a little surprise for the last, 10 minutes of the show that we just kind of came up with on the spot there.
I love it.
So stay tuned to find out.
So definitely stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned.
We're going to send it to break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what's going on in the NFL.
Hey everyone, it's Lydia Perner.
And Grace McCarran.
And we are two of your hosts for 5 on 3.
WFUV's best, if only, hockey podcast.
With all the storylines in the tri-state area, you won't want to miss an episode.
How will Matthew Schaefer fit in with the Islanders?
And will the Rangers have a bounce-back season under Mike Sullivan?
Finally, will the Devils be able to stay healthy and hit their full potential?
Stick with us all season for all things NHL and Will Cooley updates on WFUV Sports.
Well, that was a pretty short break because we got a lot to get to here, and it is time for the NFL segment, which I know my co-hosts have been really jumping for. They did not want to talk Giants and Jets because, well, George, I believe you mentioned you're a Cowboys fan,
I'm a Cowboys
so
fan.
Giants and Jets talk really hurt his soul, and you're a Rams fan over there. Am I correct?
Because there's nothing to talk about.
So, well, I'll shoot it over to you first. What is your prevailing storyline, or what's one thing that you've seen throughout this NFL season that that's really intrigued you or had you happy and excited?
I'm taking this over from Barrett.
Okay, Griffin. Jeez.
You're a Rams fan?
Yeah.
I'm a Seahawks fan. You guys did not deserve to win that game at all.
Well,
that was a travesty.
I think, I
can do this in there, right?
No, because I don't have the headset anymore.
He doesn't have the
so I have to
headset.
come in and be dramatic. But look at the box score of that game. On paper, we dominated you. If Sam Darnold was in third picks.
I would probably agree. I think that down the stretch, though, the
If
Rams.
Sam Darnold could stop.
The
throwing
Rams
picks, that'd be great
executed
for a
better,
fantasy
though.
team. 4 interceptions.
They were
is
bad picks.
insane.
They were bad.
They were
picks.
bad interceptions,
They were
and
bad picks.
the Seahawks couldn't get the ball in the end zone.
Yeah,
all they could do was make field goals.
Yeah.
And when it mattered most, what did the Rams do? They drilled the ball on the 1 yard
Yeah.
line. Oh, and by the way, that play where Darnold threw the ball, I forget who caught it. That clock stood on 1 second
Yeah.
for 4 minutes there.
You
I mean,
held-
I get it because the NFL wants the
Yeah.
drama, but
You held JSN though 2 times, and they called the one that would have given us less yards. But no, that was the greatest. That might be the most clutch punt I've ever seen in it.
that was pretty clutch. And then they had another one on Monday Night Football this week that was almost just as good. Pretty much.
I'll go back now, but read the stat. If you look at the box score, we dominated that game. But seriously, if Darnold made me throws 3 picks, their only touchdowns came when we threw stupid picks and they got the ball at the 30-yard line. It's a crazy game.
Yeah, I mean, team stats. I mean, rushing yards, pretty close. Passing yards, I mean, yeah, Darnold threw for 150 more passing yards than the Rams did. Defensively, the turnovers were the difference in this game for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think either offense played particularly well. I wouldn't go so far as to say that the Seahawks dominated the game, but the 4 interceptions definitely does hurt a team that. I mean, the Seahawks were on a roll, just absolutely mowing everyone down. Sam Darnold had been playing very well.
Yeah, I think.
And as I mentioned, Sam Darnold was my starting quarterback for fantasy last week, and the 4 interceptions hurt.
Yeah, I think to get back to your question about what's been the biggest storyline so far for me this season is that really all the teams that we thought were going to go out and play really well haven't. I think the Chiefs, right, they're 5-5. The Eagles have a good record, but their wins haven't been pretty. I think obviously Baltimore and Cincinnati have been, ripped,
Lackluster.
torn apart. Yeah, they've been torn apart with quarterback injuries, and they haven't performed up to their potentials either. And it's wide open, right? You could pick a ton of teams right now and say, if they won the Super Bowl, yeah, I'd be surprised, but I wouldn't be shocked. Would you be shocked? Would you be stunned if the Patriots won the Super Bowl? Probably not, right? Would you be stunned if the Rams won the Super Bowl or the Seahawks or, Brock Purdy and the Niners somehow won the Super Bowl? So I think there's so many teams.
I would be stunned if Brock Purdy and the Niners won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I would be stunned. Maybe with the Ayuk news, they probably don't have enough. But the point still stands is that there's probably 10 to 12 teams right now that if they won, even the Chiefs, nobody would be stunned if the Chiefs at 5-5 won the Super Bowl. I sure wouldn't.
Another sneaky decent team actually is the Carolina Panthers, who are 6-5.
And the Panthers are never going to win the Super Bowl.
I've been a Bryce Young believer since
Bryce
the
Young is
first
playing
day.
very
Since the
well
first
this
day he
season.
came into the league.
But I mean,
and
come on,
and now everything is coming true, and it's fantastic to see.
I mean, they got wins over the
I love me some Bryce
Cowboys,
Young.
the Packers.
Right. There are just a lot of teams right now that could really make a run and win the Super Bowl. And that's what makes this season so great, is that there's so much left to be played for, because so many teams feel like they have a real legitimate shot at doing something special in January.
And for you, George, what's your prevailing storyline that you
My
really?
prevailing storyline is the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
You brought it up. You hit the nail on the head. They're playing good football, and I think they could make a nice little run. Bryce Young threw, I think, for 450 yards last week, and absolutely ripped apart it was the Cowboys, correct? It was the Cowboys secondary, and showed what he truly could do. And this is something that I've been waiting for, because I've had a lot of faith in him from the moment he was drafted. The Falcons, he ripped up the Falcons, and it was just fantastic to see, because he's a guy you root for. You'll never see him say anything negative. He's always positive. He always looks devastated, and now he has the receivers to do it. He has a running back to push through. He has Ted McMillan, who I think one day will be the best receiver in the game, not of all time, but he will be a top 3 receiver in the league one day. And he has Rico Dowdle, who's just a dog. He's a beast, and they have a team who I think could make a little sneaky run.
Yeah.
And Chuba just came back too, which helps.
He did. I mean, it's hard though, because Rico Dowdle's been playing.
Yeah, you
so
can't
well,
take out Rico Dowdle.
No. But you could split the carries, because they're both viable running backs.
That is true.
I think Dowdle's won the job though. To be honest,
I agree.
How has he not won the job? To be a full-time running back and not just do 55-45. He should be getting most of the carries for that team. And like other than Bryce Young, he's probably the reason why they're in the playoff hunt.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, he had that 3-week stretch where I think he had like over 160 yards 3 weeks in a row, which was pretty incredible. He has been splitting times with Chuba recently, and he's still, I think, like 4th or 5th in the league in terms of rushing yards, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I like the Panthers as a storyline. I think my prevailing storyline, or kind of interesting little thing to watch, has been the Indianapolis Colts. They,
That's a good one.
Obviously, they're the best team in the league, and in terms of standings right now, but no one expected this from them coming into the season. I mean, Daniel Jones beating out Anthony Richardson as the quarterback was the biggest storyline of the preseason.
And now you see why.
Exactly. This was a team that many people thought was going to be, honestly, nothing short of pretty terrible.
But they have Jonathan Taylor.
Instead, they're 8-2. Jonathan Taylor's having an MVP caliber season.
He's insane,
and they've
He's
been
so
great.
good.
Granted, their strength of schedule early in the season was not.
It was weak, but
it was pretty. Yeah, most of the tough games they played were at home, and then the one road game they played versus a tough opponent, they did lose to the Rams.
They should have won that game.
But then
too,
then
the ball in the end zone.
they went to the Chargers, beat the Chargers on the road. So they haven't had necessarily the most challenging schedule, but they've still been very good. The offense has been electric. Daniel Jones through the first probably 8 weeks of the season was the MVP of the league.
Yeah.
Drake May's kind of stepped it up here over the last 5 or 6 weeks. But my storyline would definitely be the Colts. They're buyers at the deadline. They're 8-2, and kind of no matter what happens for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's been a massive
There's
success.
a lot of things. There's massive success for the team. A lot of things to look forward to if you're a Colts fan, no matter how the season ends. And obviously, you just traded for Sauce Gardner, which is pretty electric as well. And you've got Michael Pittman, who's having a great season. You've got Jonathan Taylor, who really, I think, should be the MVP if we're not calling it a quarterback-only award. But, yeah, I mean, Jonathan Taylor, 1,000 yards in 10 games is insane. Like, 1,200 yards in 10 games.
He's an
15 touchdowns. He's been electric.
He's a stud. He was doing what Saquon was doing last year.
Yeah. He was on pace. He slowed down a little bit. I think he was on pace to break the record at one point. He is on pace for around 1,900 yards right now. I think 2 weeks ago he was on pace for 2,200 yards. Just insane things he's doing. Absolutely insane things he's doing. And he's got 700 rushing yards in the last 5 games.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I just don't think when it comes down to the playoffs, is Daniel Jones really going to run through the AFC? Probably not. But I do think, again, the Colts were coming into the season expected to, finish 3rd place in the division or whatever. And now that what are they, 8-2 or 9-2 right now? They're,
They're sitting at 8-2.
They're sitting at 8-2.
I mean,
they're in contention.
The Jags,
for a bye.
they have a weaker division. The Jags have obviously, they're a decent team. They obviously had the big blow up kind of choke job against the Texans 2 weeks ago. The Texans, ever since Davis Mills has become the starter, have looked better. The defense is elite for the Texans, which everyone expected them to be. The offense has struggled at times, but they've kind of started to establish a run with Woody Marks. So, not necessarily the weakest division in the world for the Colts, but definitely not a strong one by any stretch of the imagination. So, you've got at least a couple more wins in there, I think. Should be able to, barring an all-time collapse, you'll be in the playoffs with probably a pretty favorable draw. But at some point, you're going to have to beat the buzzsaw that is the AFC West in, the Broncos and Chargers, and whatever the heck happens with the Chiefs, whether they decide to turn it around or not. There's going to be teams in the AFC, and obviously the Bills and the Patriots.
Yeah.
But you have a chance. Obviously, you have a chance.
There's always a chance. Like, you can't give up so, like...
It's life lesson right there. There's always a chance.
There's always a chance, and especially with a team which you just make a trade. You just traded for a player like that. You have to utilize that to its fullest extent.
Yeah. I do want to talk about the Thanksgiving Day NFL schedule.
For
because
sure.
This is like one of the, for me,
one of the
this
money
is probably
ones.
the highlight of the season. You know, you've got Packers-Lions, which is an appealing game to a lot of people. You have Chiefs-Cowboys, which is, like, you're not going to be competing with anything else for that. It's probably going to be the most viewed game until the playoffs. And then you have Bengals-Ravens, which even
is
though
a
those are
dumpster
two,
fire.
yeah, but you've got Joe Burrow returning against Lamar Jackson. So a ton
Oh,
of,
he's 100% back.
he's back. He's coming back for that.
Beautiful.
He's coming back for
That'll
that
be
game.
good for the fantasy team.
That's going to be an awesome game to watch. Now, I mean, I even think that, you know, I don't know if it's the best idea that the NFL instituted a night game on Thanksgiving, which they've done, I think, in the last decade. I don't really know why they actually. I do know why they did it. They did it for money and ratings.
Quick little tidbit: are we going to talk about Jamar Chase and
The
Jalen
suspension?
Ramsey? Yeah,
We can.
We can talk about that.
Go ahead.
Let's touch on that, especially when we're talking about the Bengals. Jamar Chase, if people don't know, was suspended one game. I believe it was one game for spitting on Jalen Ramsey, which is
This is the second suspension of a star player for spitting this year, which is kind of
Yeah.
crazy. Obviously, Jalen Carter, the first game of the season, got
And-
suspended for spitting on Dak Prescott.
quick thing. T. Higgins fantasy owners are probably cheering right now because he's
Right.
getting all the targets. But it creates a bigger discussion on what these players constitute as okay, because they have people getting into fights, people spitting on each other. It's bush league. It's soft.
Yeah.
It's weak. You go and you spitting on someone.
Yeah, I
Come
don't
on.
like it.
It's
Like,
childish.
if you're gonna create drama, I think you should just get into a full-on.
Yeah,
brawl,
100%.
to be
Punch the
honest.
dude in the face. Don't spit
Yeah.
on him.
Yeah, nobody goes to an NFL game and hopes for players spitting on each other.
Spitting on someone is so insane.
Yeah. And you see what he said? He said, if I was going to try to spit at him, I would have spat at his face, not at his leg. It's like, why are we even talking about this?
He clearly tried and failed at what he was trying to get done.
Oh.
But it's nasty. It's insane. And for a guy of Jamar Chase's caliber, it's a horrible look.
Yeah.
And just wrong all around. But
And
if you
how-
can make
yeah.
a trade for T. Higgins, do it now.
Yeah, isn't it interesting that the two spitting incidents, I guess, that have occurred this year have come between Jamar Chase, Jalen Ramsey, Dak Prescott, and Jalen Carter, who are all premium players at their position?
Yeah.
Like, that's just an interesting... It's not between, like... Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, well, yeah, because if you're some random, you're not spitting on someone because you don't have the job
you need
security to
playing
spit
time.
on
Right,
someone.
right. That does make
You need
sense.
those game checks. You can't.
Right,
you don't usually see bums get suspended because they need those game checks. They
Right.
know better than that. Jamar Chase doesn't need the game check.
Right.
But again, another fantasy thing is Jamar Chase not playing really hurts the fantasy team this weekend. I don't have a whole lot of depth at receiver.
Yeah, that's me. I'm not affected, but I'm affected by Drake London, which is heartbreaking.
yep.
That one's brutal. Because I'm going up against a guy who had Khalil Shakir, who had 17 this week, which doesn't help by any means, especially with Khalil Shakir, who has been having a great year and had a horrible week last week. And of course, he pulls out a rabbit in a hat. But I have Daniel Jones going up against the Chiefs defense, so it's expecting fireworks. I mean, I made a good pickup by getting Jordan Addison this week off waivers, which was, I don't know how I pulled that off, but I did.
Yeah, that's
Hey.
a crazy pickup. That
But
is a crazy
do-
pickup.
Quick question for you guys. I have Travis Etienne, Christian McCaffrey, and Trayvon Henderson. I also have Aaron Jones.
Drop Aaron Jones.
Drop Aaron Jones?
Yeah,
don't
you're Aaron Jones.
He's not. I don't think he's that great.
And you already had and all my guys already had their buys. So
Yeah, but Max, do we want to go back to the Thanksgiving Day games?
Yeah, we go back to the Thanksgiving Day games. I think, for me, I think the most, and we also have to keep in mind that we've now got a Black Friday game coming out. Let me ask you guys this question, though. This is pretty interesting to me. Because there's 3 Thanksgiving Day games and a Black Friday game, that means there's, 10 or 11 games going to be, because nobody's on bye after Thanksgiving. That's going to be 11 games that Sunday. Does that bother you that there's not, like, a full slate of NFL action? Because it bothers me a little bit that you get, like, 4
They
games
have to
after.
make their money.
And you have, or maybe, is there a Monday night game? Because that would mean there's 10 games.
night game.
Wait, there's a game like in a couple days. Like there's a Monday night game this week. This coming week?
No, I would mean
Or
after. Next,
I mean, there is
next
a Monday
Monday.
night week for both Monday night for both of those weeks.
It would just
yeah.
be like this.
There's always
week,
a Monday night game.
A week from tomorrow, there would only be like 9 or 10 games on the slate that are being played.
We're
which
getting an
doesn't
extra
really-
day of football.
It doesn't really feel like NFL Sunday to me. NFL Sunday feels like 8 games in the early window, 4 games in the late window, and then a Sunday night football game. It doesn't feel like 4 and 1.
Yeah, I can understand, but
Yeah, there's going to be 11 games next Sunday.
Okay, 11 games because nobody's on bye. That makes sense.
Correct.
I could see where you're coming from, but it just they gotta do what they gotta do. They gotta make a couple extra bucks off of it.
Yeah, well, that's what everything is. That's why they put the Thursday night game in. It was all about making the money.
And the Thursday night game is on Prime now.
I don't know.
Is it
I
Peacock?
hate
Which
that
one
all
of-
these
which one is
games
on
are all on
It's
all
on.
this
It's
stuff.
on. Well, Friday night is on Prime, but
What about wait? Thanksgiving are national games, right?
No.
yeah, everything on Thanksgiving is nationally
Really?
televised.
Thank God.
It's Fox, CBS, and Peacock are
That's
oh,
fine.
Peacock?
or
Or
Fox,
M-
CBS, and
NBC,
NBC, but it's
NBC.
obviously also on Peacock.
Okay, right. So
But
that's
if it's
good.
that's good then. So
Yeah.
everyone's able to watch the game, which is
But
always
you
good.
can see every single sport is moving into just localizing it on streaming services now. Like you had to do
It's
MLB
monopolization.
TV deal. The NFL is doing
The
it.
NBA is the
NBA
worst.
is not good.
The NBA is the worst out of them all, in my opinion.
I miss the good old days. You know, back in the 1980s, we just throw on like 7 channels and watch.
Yeah, you
watch
remember
the
those
game.
days?
Yeah,
You remember
those were
back in your day?
those were some good days, boys. I'll tell you about them someday.
Someday.
They were fun.
I appreciate it. Enlighten me. Nah, but understanding that these games are high pressure, high leverage, and it's a very, very, very good games, and things that could possibly explain the rest of the season, like especially the Chiefs Cowboys game. That's probably the highlight.
That's a must-win game for both teams, in
Yeah.
my opinion. If you want to make both those teams have to win, especially if they both win this weekend, because the Chiefs play the Colts, right?
Yeah.
And the Cowboys are playing the Eagles. So if both those teams win those games, then that Cowboys-Chiefs game is like probably the game of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the current wild card standings?
Yeah, but all of those games have such massive implications and storylines, which is fun because some Thanksgivings it's like you've got Bears Cowboys and both teams are like 3-8 and nobody cares what happens.
Yeah, it's a bad look right now for the whole league because everyone's scrambling. Everyone's trying to win as many games, and it's essentially the playoff teams, like the playoff caliber teams, are all pointed out, and now we're just waiting on who's going to capitalize and who's up next.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think the Thursday night thing is that, I mean, Cincy Baltimore, it could be fun potentially, maybe, I don't know, but like that game was supposed to be like the marquee game coming into the season, and now both of these teams kind of suck. So like, I mean,
Yeah, but even still, you've got Burrow against Lamar, so there's something to watch.
yeah.
You know? And who's like?
I'm excited for that Green Bay Detroit game. I think that's gonna be a really good game.
Plus, it's Thanksgiving night. Like, who's not gonna be at home watching
The get-in
game?
price for that Green Bay Detroit game is $309.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all looking right now. It's Los Angeles, Buffalo, and Jacksonville, and Seattle, Green Bay, and San Fran, and all tied with all on the bubble. Everyone's on the bubble there. So Dallas is 1 game out. So it's all coming down to the wire, and it's an exciting time in the NFL because everyone's all hands on deck at this point.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like that's all that really is going on in the NFL, to be honest. At the moment, it's just playoffs locking in. Thanksgiving games are coming up, and be ready for exciting end of the season.
Yep. I'm very excited for the Thanksgiving games and what's to come. But speaking of the Thanksgiving games, we do, on the other side of this break, we're going to have a little fun Thanksgiving-themed segment. I won't reveal it quite yet. I'll leave the suspense there hanging just for the next 2 or 3 minutes while we go to break. And on the other side of the break, we're going to wrap up this show with an incredible Thanksgiving-themed segment. We'll see you on the other side.
Hey, Devils fans. Tucker Austin here from WFUV Sports, one of your New Jersey Devils beat reporters for the 2025-26 season. From Hughes Brothers Havoc to Heischer hat tricks and Markstrom masterclasses, I'll have you covered live from the Prudential Center for all things Jersey hockey. Follow me on X at @TAustin_24, where I'll have live game updates, analysis, and post-game coverage all season long as the Black and Red look to bring Lord Stanley back to the Rock. WFUV Sports is your home for everything New Jersey Devils.
Welcome back for our final segment. I've had a blast over the past 2.5 hours. I hope you all have as well listening in.
Sure.
And to kind of capitalize on that fun and keep that fun going, we're gonna finish off the season, off this episode with a fun little Thanksgiving kind of round robin draft here of our favorite Thanksgiving foods. We're gonna start with Max, then we're gonna go George, and then myself, and we'll snake it back around. We're gonna go 5 rounds of our favorite Thanksgiving foods. Max, I'll let you start it off with the 1-1. What is the best Thanksgiving food?
I think this is the best Thanksgiving food, period, end of story. It can play in so many different roles. You want it to be the main course, it could do it. You want it to be a side, you could do it. I'm going with stuffing.
Stuffing. I love that pick.
Wow,
1-1.
took the pick from me.
I love that.
1-1 stuffing.
Clear choice, in my opinion.
All right, George, let's hear it.
I feel like it's when stuffing's off the table, you gotta go mac and cheese.
Gotta go mac and cheese. All right.
Gotta.
That's
Mac
the
and
1-1,
cheese.
George.
That's the 1-1, Griff.
Wow, that's
I
crazy.
think everyone's tripping here, but I'm gonna go. I got closing out the first round and the first pick in the second round. So to swing it back around here, I'm gonna go with ham as my first choice.
That's a good talk. That's good talk.
that.
And number 2, I'm going with pumpkin pie.
Oh,
Pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie.
That's early.
No, it's pumpkin
That's
pie.
early. No, it's
pumpkin
not.
pie
It's not.
is borderline one of the greatest foods on this planet.
It is.
There's
I can't lie, that's a great pick.
There's one that should have been picked already that I'm waiting to see who gets it.
All right.
Swinging
all right,
back,
Griff.
I'm gonna take sweet potato casserole.
You're gonna take sweet potato casserole. Was that it, Griff? No. Griff looks angry in the booth right now.
Sweet potato that's
casserole.
like an 8th round pick. to be
Yeah.
Are you
honest.
talking with the marshmallows on top? That's borderline my favorite food at the table.
Okay.
Alrighty.
All right. I've got stuffing. You stole pumpkin pie from me, so I was going to go with that. I think I got to go with the traditional pick of mashed potatoes. It's old, but it's classic. It's classic. I got to go with that. And then for my first pick in the 3rd round, I need something a little sweet to lighten up my palate. I'm going to go with yams.
Yams, okay.
Yams. Interesting talks. Next up, my personal favorite dessert, pecan pie.
Okay. You're a pecan guy now.
I do. I make it every year.
Yeah. I personally love it. It's not something that's at my Thanksgiving table personally.
No.
Really?
I love pecan pie. But no, we don't have it at my Thanksgiving. Actually, we're more of a pumpkin pie only. Sometimes
No apple pie either for you?
Sometimes we'll throw in an apple pie or like a key lime pie. Key lime pie is electric.
We don't get key lime pie.
By the
up
way,
here.
do we get ice cream like as an automatic?
That's
whipped
you-
cream
you-
add-on
yeah,
with
yeah.
these pies?
Ice cream and whip. Yeah,
It
it's
comes
My
with
grandma
the
makes
pies.
homemade whipped cream. So.
yeah.
yeah,
My mom also
same here.
makes homemade whipped
All
cream.
right.
You got to go with the homemade
It
whipped
comes
cream.
it comes with the dessert then. It's a freebie.
Sometimes we'll be like a little bit busy and we don't get to the homemade whipped cream, but you always got to go with the homemade whipped cream. I think it just takes an elite dessert over the top.
Definitely.
But yeah, ice cream 100% comes with it. That's
Okay. I just didn't want to burn a pick
it's
on
not
ice cream.
it's not no, it's not a Thanksgiving pie if you don't have ice cream with it as well.
Right.
I think I kind of got distracted. Oh, I know. I'm gonna go with gravy as my last pick in the 3rd round. Gravy. Yep. Gravy. Great. What do you put on your mashed potatoes if it's not gravy?
I was under the impression that gravy was just
No,
came along with the mashed
No,
potatoes.
gravy does not come along with the mashed
Well, you
potatoes.
put gravy on everything.
Exactly. You put gravy on every single thing on your plate. It's its own thing.
My pick has
Alright.
still not been picked yet.
Really?
It's probably some really obscure.
I won one. I think you guys are just forgetting it, to be honest. Like, you'll be like, how do we?
He's gonna say
that?
turkey.
He's gonna say
Is it
turkey. Oh yeah, turkey.
No, you can't be a turkey guy. I think my next pick, I'm gonna swing it around with a vegetable casserole. Is going to be the first pick of the 4th round.
Really?
Yeah.
Vegetable cat. Okay, I like that pick.
You're gonna call me nuts.
Uh-oh.
Cranberry sauce.
Yeah, you're nuts.
No.
I
The
feel
jellied cranberry
I
sauce.
feel like cranberry
an
sauce
ocean
is
spray
very-
can.
I feel like it's very like you either love it or you hate it.
My pops and I love it.
So cranberry sauce is your 4th pick.
Okay, I get 2 picks now, right?
You do. You get these are your
These
last
are my
two
last
picks.
2
though.
picks.
Last
Okay.
2 picks.
I need a dessert. I don't love it. I'm just gonna go with apple pie. You know, some people like it, but it's gonna have to do it. And then to round out my plate, I either need a meat or a vegetable. But you know, this is Thanksgiving. We don't need any vegetables here. We're gonna go with meatloaf.
Meatloaf. Okay. Meatloaf. I don't know if I've seen that one at a Thanksgiving
I've
before.
never seen that.
Really?
But it's
It can play. It can play at a Thanksgiving though. It's
So
definitely
you're
there.
your fan. So
This is my
what-
team.
At your Thanksgiving dinner table. What's the meat spread looking like? What meat do you have at the table?
Well, we've got ham.
Okay.
We've got probably turkey. We've got meatloaf, and I don't know.
Yeah.
That's probably
my family's really only a ham and turkey. Sometimes we'll even skip out on the turkey because no one really eats the turkey.
We're ham and turkey as well. We're
Yeah.
with you on that one.
All right, finish out your guys' things, and we'll all say our teams at the end and see who's got the best one.
Biscuits.
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 Biscuits. So here's my question.
Like a nice, fresh, pillowy biscuit.
Because here's where I was. So
don't
I was
hate
gonna
it,
go with the
but-
dinner. I was gonna go with the dinner roll, right? But I feel like that's kind of one with the biscuits.
Yeah.
No. That's a whole separate thing. If you don't distinguish, and that was my 1-1.
okay,
dude.
so
Dinner
yeah,
King's
yeah.
Hawaiian roll. So that's a steal of a final
the-
pick.
the-
I don't know how
the
that
dinner
didn't
roll
go.
separate,
Almost
right?
went undrafted.
Yeah. Okay. I'm picking the dinner roll. The dinner roll was never gonna
Okay,
go undrafted.
Hawaiian roll? I don't know.
No, not
That's
a Hawaiian
borderline.
roll.
It's
Not a
not
like
great.
a dinner
No, it's
roll.
the King's Hawaiian
You're
roll.
talking about
Yeah.
you talking about the little King's Hawaiian ones.
Yeah, they're not even
Bad
close.
talks.
Yeah, not even
That's
Bad,
not what I'm
bad
ta-
talks. That's bad
That
talks.
close.
I'm talking about like full on like dinner roll. Like you gotta bake it, not a King's Hawaiian roll.
Well, yeah, but you
Although
bake
I
the
do
King's
love a
Hawaiian.
good King's
Dude,
Hawaiian
you
roll.
Oh my God, you guys don't like those?
I
That's
love
No,
those.
no, no, no,
I
no,
love
no,
those.
no,
I-
no, no. They're good. They're just not on caliber with everything
So-
else.
But I'm talking about like a full on dinner roll.
Oh,
not
like the
you-
big ones? Like
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
No,
like
yeah,
you
I know what
bake
you're
it,
talking
it's
about.
All right, all
It's
right,
bread.
all right.
I mean,
Let's-
I can pick
I've
something
clearly
else
never
if we
seen
think
the
that's
size
equal
of a
with the-
King's
All
Hawaiian
right, let's
roll.
round out.
When
Let's
it's
round out the
cooked, by the way,
teams.
so
And
those things are
we'll see who's
massive.
got the best team. Because I think nobody can beat my team, to be honest. Because the duo of stuffing and mashed potatoes.
Like the
you can't
dinner
beat
rolls
that.
are like the ones where you bake them.
The stuffing mashed potatoes duo is
It's
very
really-
underrated.
It's really good.
Yeah, I would. Okay, yeah. So I have them. All
Read 'em
written
out real
down.
quick.
Yeah. So Max with the first overall pick went with stuffing. He's got mashed potatoes. He's got yams. Kind of similar there in mashed potatoes and yams.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Maybe
And,
my
and
yams
are
are
yams not
candied,
sweet
though.
potatoes? Oh, you mean like
Yeah.
the whole ones?
I'm talking
I mean,
about
yams
like
are sweet
I'm
potatoes
talking
are
about
pretty
like
close
the
together. but-
yams, the sweet yams, like the candied yams.
Okay, candy
Oh,
yams.
like the
okay, yeah, those
like
are
the ones that are chunked and everything.
Yeah,
yeah.
okay,
I got
okay.
you. I get what you're
Okay.
saying.
I got. So you got stuffing, mashed potatoes, candied yams. You got an apple pie, and you got meatloaf.
Just rig me. I'm Chris Paul. Just
I
talk.
think the
Rig me.
meatloaf is really questionable.
The meatloaf low-key takes it down.
I think the
Oh.
meat. I think you had a great draft until meatloaf. I really do. Meatloaf though, it makes it questionable. George,
Ring me.
you let us off.
Hand it over.
You let us off with mac and cheese.
Yep.
Good pick. Then you went sweet potato casserole.
Yup.
I think also known as sweet potato pie, depending on where you're from.
No, I'm talking about the ones with the marshmallows.
no,
on top.
yeah,
Oh, you put marshmallows
okay.
on top of your sweet potato pie?
I think it depends on where you're from. But sweet potato casserole. Then you got pecan pie.
Yup.
You got cranberry sauce.
Yup.
And you got biscuits.
Yup.
I love.
Your meal's too heavy, man. Nobody's gonna be able to finish all that food.
You got no
It's-
meat either.
Yeah, you have no meat.
No, because the two meats that are on my table were taken. You took ham.
Yeah, but you have no
And no one took
foundation.
turkey. Turkey was never taken.
No, turkey's never getting drafted. Turkey
Yeah,
is
yeah.
horrid.
Yeah. But you got no meat. I think that really holds it back from a real Thanksgiving dinner. You got no meat on that table.
I could see the vision. It's like a defensive heavy
Yeah.
team with not many offensive slashers.
Yeah.
You don't have you don't have the glue guy that is the meat. You don't.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of playmakers.
I don't have my
but you don't
Landry
have your
Shamet.
quarterback. You got a bunch of receivers. You got a bunch of weapons, but there's no quarterback on that team.
Fair enough.
And then my team, before we send it home, is going to be ham with my first pick. I went pumpkin pie, gravy, vegetable casserole, and a dinner roll. I think that's the best draft far and away. But no holes on it. There's no holes on that team.
Yeah,
there's no holes.
I'll be honest. That's probably the winner. To be honest.
If there's one thing I know, it's how to do Thanksgiving dinner right.
Because you've got the meat, and then you've got the gravy to put over everything, and then you wrap it up with the pumpkin pie. You know, the apple pie for me takes me. I don't like apple pie. I really only like pumpkin pie.
I think Barrett might have it.
I think I did too. But we're gonna have to end it here. We're gonna cut off all that discussion. It's been a great show. I've really enjoyed what we've done today. I am Barrett Spritzer, joined by George Sfouggatakis and Max Langer. Griffin Stevenson chimed in a couple times, and he was killing it on the boards. And then
Thank you, Griff.
Ashatino had the graphics and all the visual that you saw today. I've had a blast. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week for another episode of One on One.